Speaking of Valentine's Day, the wife just came in and said, I know it doesn't matter to you, but happy Valentine's Day. And I just realized when she said that, the only way I know Valentine's Day is coming
Oh my goodness.
is because of Destiny. Right?
And
Can we
because there's no Crimson Days, so who cares?
a moment of silence, a moment of silence.
Right?
Yeah.
Welcome to Two Titans and a Hunter, a Destiny 2 podcast. A show where we discuss tips, tricks and tools to help all Guardians succeed and enjoy playing more. What makes us different? Well, we're not streamers or YouTubers, we just have a passion for Destiny and are dedicated to keeping Guardians informed and up to date with all the latest Destiny 2 news, information and opinions. We encourage your questions and feedback, and you can contact us either by email, twotitansandahunter@hotmail.com, or on Twitter at 2titans_hunter. Now, on with the show.
So, welcome to the show. I am Nitedemon.
What up?
On my left, who's on my left normally? I can't remember. It's been a long
It's usually
day.
Peroty. I'm the last one. Yeah.
I'm usually on the left and he's on the
Yes.
right.
Exactly. There you go. And Respawn's brought a friend along this week to rant. That's what I was told. There was a rant.
It is a rant, but he's...
Or is
he's
it
gonna-
constructive criticism?
Both.
I just
He's done it in a much more manageable way than I would have. So
I just assume it's moral support for Respawn's, ever increasing transition into a warlock.
I'm not a... Yo, I will hunt you down and murder your dog, okay?
That's a pretty good trick. First, you're gonna have to find my dog. So you're gonna have to go back in time, probably a solid decade, to a small town and find that dog among 80 acres. But if you can do it, more power to you, bud.
First of all, I'm a huge fan of Back to the Future, and I don't know if you've seen my Sparrow in-game. I have a DeLorean. Thank you. So what you're saying is entirely feasible and doable. And I know I just repeated myself, so shut up.
Also, it's really fun just to press the button over and over again of Respawn, and the same thing happens. You turn the crank, the Respawn pops up and he screams, and then you just do it over and over again. It's fun.
Wow. It's kind of mean.
Respawn, introduce your friend.
My friend is Jok3rs-P8. That is Joker with a 3, Papa 8. And you're like, where's the 3? There's no E! Ha! Got him. Okay. So he's one of the newest recruits to our clan and the latest and greatest member of the Respawn army, aside from Respawn himself, of course, right? And for all the other members of the Respawn army, if you find offense to that, well, fight to the death for daddy's love, okay?
Click.
Anyway.
Click. What you playing over there, buddy? Because all I can hear is click. Click.
Sorry. I'm giving video footage, so I'm gonna have to adjust that, I guess.
Yeah, Respawn this week he's had a brainwave actually.
Mm-hmm.
He's recording the podcast as we are recording the podcast, and he's going to attach it live to his Twitch stream. So you're not going to get any cutouts. It's just going to be raw footage of him playing and raw audio of us talking nonsense.
Big fan.
Our glorious leader is smarter than he looks.
Not by much. And I look like an idiot, so that's not saying a whole lot. But anyway, so there's going to be no music. There's going to be none of that. Just background noise from the actual stuff that's happening in-game, us, and then video for however long we're doing this. So it is what it is. You can have the raw, uncut version, or you can have the real fancy version that Nitedemon takes a lot of time to put together. So, by all means, at the very least, download it so we can get those numbers. All right? Anyway, Joker's here to give a very well put together critique of something that he does not appreciate within our realm of Destiny. So, say hi, Joker. Say what's up. How you doing? What's up? How you doing? Hi, Joker.
Respawn Army, Nitedemon
Joker?
recruits, and Peroty.
No.
Patch
We're not
notes
creating
fans?
new things. No, stop. We're not creating new factions. That is not a thing we do.
Yeah, they're like, and this guy who we suppose does stuff here. No one really knows why he's here.
Dude, I keep telling everybody. Look, okay, for all those that don't have the Discord, all right, I keep telling everybody in there because they make fun of Peroty. They're like, what do you do, Peroty? Peroty is the world's greatest wingman, all right? Without Peroty, this show wouldn't be a third as good as it is, right? Because a lot of the things that I do that entertain or people off, it's because Peroty has set it up for me to just dunk it, all right? Best wingman ever. Do not underestimate this guy. Couldn't do it without him. 100%.
He holds the record for Discord assists.
Yes, absolutely. So that is what Peroty does. Peroty is the best cheerleader / wingman any man can hope for.
I've always thought of him as kind of an American parody of Nitedemon.
I know that's a play on his name, but you gotta expand a little further than that.
With a much less soothing voice to listen to.
Well, honestly, your voice is soothing. It's not soothing like Nitedemon's is. Like, I've literally fallen asleep to Nitedemon's voice before. Not gonna lie.
I mean, who hasn't?
I mean, that's why
Parody is much more reasonable. Yes. When you were talking about the refined version of Nitedemon and Peroty and the rough, uncut background version of Respawn, I was going, well, yes, that's Peroty to a T. Respawn is Respawn. He's an uncut, I want to say Jim, but that doesn't quite work. Maybe Seashell?
You know, first of all, I liked you about 10 minutes ago, all right? You're going rapidly downhill. Because I was going to make a joke that, you mentioned Gem, and my birthstone is a diamond. So I am,
a diamond in
the
rough.
You are literally an uncut diamond.
Yeah, see? And it was all going to fit together quite nicely, and then you ruined it by calling me a seashell. So I hope your favorite goldfish gets Alzheimer's, okay?
I think that's how they come, just out of the box.
So, Joker, on other normal podcasts where they have guests, the guests come on and introduce themselves and tell everybody about a long story of how they got into Destiny. Now's your chance. We're going to give you the opportunity. Tell us about yourself. What got you into Destiny? How long you've been playing? Why you decided to join the maddening of the Frozen Clan? Go.
I would be honored. So, my first experience with Destiny, I was about 7 or 8, I think, and because I'm still young, I'm still young, so it's not you guys. I'm not trying to make you guys feel old.
It's too late.
But
too late.
You failed. I feel very old. You kindergarten.
Right?
So my cousin had it, and I was over at our grandparents, and he was upstairs playing it, and I went upstairs, and he's just in this snowy landscape firing at these bug-like creatures. It's like, what is that? He said, it's a new game. It's called Destiny. And I watched him for a bit, and I went, this thing's awesome. And then I didn't think about it again for about 3 or 4 years.
Lasting impression, obviously.
So just about 2 years ago, I went into a used game store, and it was there for PS3, and I'd just gotten a PS3 for Christmas, my first ever gaming console, and I picked it up and said, this looks awesome. It's the game my cousin Alex showed me. Got it home, played it, and I have been addicted to it. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Pretty much ever since. Yeah, that's a good word. And then about a year ago, I got Destiny 2 during the dawning of Season of the Dawn. So I'm a little late to the party in that regard. But I have 3 games. I have Destiny 2, because I have a PS4 now. I upgraded. Yay. I have Destiny 2, Marvel's Spider-Man for PS4, which is really good, and Apex Legends. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much my story. About 2 years of playing, about a year and a half of D1, and I'm getting into a year and a half of D2.
Nice, dude. What's your favorite class? I know you said you had a complicated class relationship, and at first I wasn't going to dig into it because I'm afraid you're going to say Titan. But that's one question we have to ask everybody. What's your main?
Okay, and I will give an answer. In D1. I created a warlock from the get-go, and I never looked back. I didn't create any other characters until I got a PS4.
Warlock Master Race, as we said.
What's the other class?
At the very end, I created a hunter because I wanted to check out the Blade Dancer.
Okay. So
And
now that
then
you're a
when-
year and a half, what do you do now?
I would,
closer.
yeah, I would say a hunter main.
Whew. Okay, we're fine. We
Yeah.
don't have to.
Just stick with that because the Titans aren't prejudiced against others. It's only him.
No,
So
if you
you
were
can
a Warlock
just say
main, that
hunter,
would be fine.
no matter
too.
what you are.
Just not a Titan. Just not a Titan.
I'm not a Titan main.
Okay.
Cool your jets. I'm not a Titan main.
Cool. Fine. Anything else for Titan? Warlock, great. Actually, we don't have enough Warlocks now that you mention it.
I love Warlocks. They're a lot of fun to play. I play my Warlock probably as much as my Hunter, but I complete a lot of stuff on my Hunter.
Well done, sir.
It sounds like Respawn.
Oh,
no,
boy.
No. What? No, not even a little bit. So they're under the impression, Joker, that I am a transitioning Warlock. But if you look at not only my overall time played on each character, which by the way, my Hunter is 3 times longer than the Warlock, but even like last week, last 2 weeks, last month, last 6 months, it's always the Hunter. Master Race.
Because he's fast. He gets things done in a flash because he's not a Titan shield bash.
We prefer to throw the shields these days and then trap it into everybody's chests and then just run away giggling.
Like that week, like several months ago, where you could only throw one hammer.
And they say Titans don't get nerfed. They're like, sorry, sir, you get one hammer, use it wisely.
Actually,
Get
you
nerfed.
guys, did you know that right now? I don't know if you've seen the videos, Peroty, but right now your Titan guys are actually in competition for the highest PvE damage output. Did you see that?
I didn't because I don't care,
Mm.
but good for us, them.
You do.
Sure,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I care deeply, and yes, I have my finger on the pulse of all of this. Absolutely.
No, it's due to your new exotic that you have that makes your Thunder Crash hit harder. The Thunder Crash hits,
that I've seen. That's absurd, and I deeply enjoy that.
and right now, if you don't take critical hits into account, I think you do more than the Golden Gun. But because the Golden Gun can crit, the Golden Gun does more. So that is the only class in the game that can get even close. I'm pretty sure, right?
I feel like
I was about to say,
is a crit just as an entire attack. I feel like it's critical when your entire body is electrified and smashed into a pulp. If that's not critical, I don't know what is. I mean,
I still want to see the numbers. Golden Gun versus the new Titan Thunder Crash versus Bottom Tree 6-shot tether. Right, I want to see which one of those does the most overall damage, just flat out. So, Fallout plays. If you could please get on that, I'd very much appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
So, getting
he's already okay.
Sorry.
getting back vaguely on track and trying to leave this absolute train wreck.
Semblance of a show. Yeah.
This poor man can eventually sleep one of these days. Back to the helm.
Sleep is a crutch.
Let's go.
Yeah. So getting back on track. Next week in Destiny, we can enjoy boosted infamy and Gambit all week long. And we can continue the fight against Keitel's forces by launching battlegrounds at the Cosmodrome and rally against the Cabal in the Arms Dealer Nightfall Ordeal Strike.
Hey, there'll be a reason to go to the Cosmodrome for like the first time ever.
We're not going to go to this Fallen Saber Strike because there's an issue.
It's
I was
still
glad
out.
that didn't come up.
Yeah, it's still out of commission, but we're going to go and kill more Cabal in the Arms Dealers. So,
Joy. What's the issue? Do you know? I didn't know that was an issue.
You have to turn it off and on again.
I can't remember. No, I can't remember what the issue is.
So I have a question for the hosts.
Okay.
They may have an answer.
Square root of pi.
We
What
may not have an answer.
what was the hardest strike in Destiny 1?
Follow up. What were the strikes in Destiny 1?
Exactly. I think no. All right. So Fallen Saber in D1, I think was one of the hardest ones just because of how it started. Honestly. Now that Demon reminded me, yeah.
That war set
The
section.
beginning and the end were quite when you were under-leveled, that was quite painful. And the same with Omnigul. Omnigul to get in that room, you were kind of hiding in that little cupboard space at the top of in her room, away from her and any kind of little nook and cranny. And outside the doors, you were kind of backing off outside the doors. I think mainly the strikes in Destiny 1 were a lot harder. Even the Sepkis Prime one, if you didn't know that you could jump through the window and hide in the window and shoot out with armor-piercing rounds, you still feared that strike.
I didn't know you could do that. Huh.
They've patched it in Destiny 2. You can't jump through the window now. But yeah, as you walked into the room, there was a window to the left that you could literally jump through and hide in, but you could only shoot out using snipers and other weapons that had armor-piercing rounds, which went through the scenery to shoot Sepkis. So yeah, that was quite fun. But then I think people then discovered that there's a doorway right down the back near the water where some enemies spawn out of that you could also hide in, which is still, I think, accessible now. But when I've done the Nightfall ordeal this week, there didn't seem to be that much of a problem. Although I think I was only on Hero or 1300, so whatever that is at the moment. But yeah, it was all right.
Yeah, I think my answer would be the same because one, I don't remember half of them, and two, I only remember them like doing them, at the end of Destiny 1, where I was such, we were all max level and everything else. It's like nothing was all that complicated, but that stupid war set every single time, and really just everything as a Nightfall. Back when Nightfalls were like, I'm not gonna say as hard as Grandmasters now, because one, I haven't really run Grandmasters, and two, I just don't remember that well, but. Like a Nightfall in Destiny 1, that was a struggle. That was a challenge. That was you bring your A game in and you're going to get stomped.
Yeah,
that was a serious pinnacle.
Nightfall was a big deal, and you got the only time you would even do it was to get exotics because it had one of the highest drop rates for exotics. So yeah,
there were many times that I was waiting to be revived by an invisible hunter running around because that was the role of the hunter in Destiny 1 was to keep people alive as you made it through the activity. Because they could go invisible. Doesn't matter.
Not just that, but the warlock too. We used to have the warlock self revives too for that whole. Oh my god, my team is dead. Got to wake up. Remember?
Yep, and trying to time that right so you don't get murdered immediately again. Yeah, good time.
Yeah,
I spammed that so hard.
What I missed about Destiny 1 was the ritualness of it. Logging on the Tuesday at reset, and for when it first started, the reset was at 10 o'clock in the UK in the morning. So me and my friend would get on. We would do all the stuff at reset and then go into the Nightfalls on our first character. And you'd get that kind of blue glow around your helmet, wouldn't you, every time that you completed it?
Mm-hmm.
And then you'd move on to the next character and kind of go through a ritual of completing on all three characters to see if you can get different stuff. And I miss that there's something missing about that in Destiny, from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2. And they did have it in Destiny 2 to start off with, where you could have the blue glow, and then you had different glows for trials, didn't you? Had a white glow and something else if you did flawless, but that's kind of slowly disappeared. But I miss those kind of ritualness of playing it.
I'm just waiting for the day that Bungie brings forth the exotic that lets the warlocks do the self revive again. I'm waiting for that day.
Well, they're going to have to make an exotic for that.
That was part of a subclass.
Yeah, it was part of a subclass. But they're going to have to make an exotic if they do it this time.
Yeah, they'll bring it back and go, this is a great idea.
Is that not what I just said?
No, you said exotic.
Yeah, exotic. I'm waiting for Bungie to make an exotic to give warlocks back their self-revive. And then all three of y'all just repeated what I said. I'm just like, what?
Because you said bring back.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay, yeah, my bad.
The way you said it. What you thought in your head was something else, that when it came out, it was something different.
Yeah.
So that's why we were all correcting you.
I live in a perpetual state of that. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. So you'd be really excited.
You should know this.
You'd be really excited to see that coming back as a warlock main, wouldn't you?
You know what? We're rapidly becoming not friends anymore.
I thought that started with trials yesterday.
For real.
And now Respawn can rant about why all his friends are gone.
No rant. Just
They all became
just
warlocks.
Fade away into the sunset. That's all that's gonna happen. Just gonna leave. Cry.
Oh, I just remembered something.
Don't do it.
All the times in the past podcasts when Nitedemon's editing or Peroty's editing fades out Respawn's monologues. What are you doing? He might have good points. Let the man talk. Don't put on smooth jazz.
See, what you fail to understand is it's 15 minutes of a story that's totally unrelated to anything, and probably a story we've heard 6 times already. So we're saving you both the runtime and having to fast forward through 15 minutes of the story for the 6th time, because as someone who has no memory, he also has no memory, but I can remember when he tells us the same story over and over.
That's the only time they really fade me out is if I'm repeating something, because like he said, I just don't remember.
Or
I don't
it's
remember
just
what I've
completely boring and off topic. Completely. He'll start on topic and then just completely go off topic for 20 minutes.
There is a train of thought involved, though. It's not off topic, right? It connected to the topic. Yeah, it's just it's not derailed. I just have other things on the train. You know,
seriously,
some people
Joker,
just have.
When we started recording these podcasts, we would be here for about 6 hours recording.
No, we've never been here for 6 hours. He's lying.
We have.
We've never been here for that.
We
long.
have.
The most we've ever done is 4.
No, we've been longer than 4 and longer than 5 sometimes.
No.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
He's lying.
You're again asking the man with no memory.
Okay.
Well, I would know if it was that long, though.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would.
I still say let the man talk about Destiny.
If he talks
about Destiny,
if he talks about Destiny, we absolutely do. Yeah, that's the thing. It's never about Destiny. It's, hey, I went to this town the other day and I had to stay in the small town and the internet was terrible. But a 15-minute version of that, or I had to take Luna to the store and this funny thing happened.
It was Destiny related because I couldn't do something on Destiny because of the terrible internet.
Yes, but people on the podcast don't want to hear about your insufficient Wi-Fi.
They do want to hear about you messing with your microphone again and locking the settings, and then again someone point out the moment that he starts saying, so I bought a new thing, or I got a new mic, or I bought a new whatever, because it's going to happen. Like it's just like he's becoming a warlock. It's going to happen. Some things are inevitable.
No, the only thing that is going to change about the mic is if I have to travel and we're recording on the weekend and I have my old mic with me. Okay.
The one that worked and sounded great before you started buying new stuff and messing with
this one sounds just as good great. Now.
Yeah, now 2.5 podcasts later.
Talking about off topic.
Yeah,
no, this is on topic.
And now the people
can we get back on topic?
All of the on topic and off topic. See, this is what we're saving you from every week, or some weeks.
I'm going to leave.
I'm not the one going off topic. You guys
are.
Need
to hear this. People need to hear this so that they know not to ask ever again to have it included, Joker.
I think I understand now. Let's get back on track.
So, how long did Respawn? Well, I should say, how long do you think you were committing yourself to by coming on the show and recording today? Because you could be here until sometime tomorrow.
Well, he only needs to stay long enough to make his point, and then he can bounce whenever he wants.
No, I think once you're here for the journey. I think you strapped in for the whole ride. The ship has left the station. We're in orbit now. There's no getting off in orbit.
I'm keeping all hands, arms, legs, and elbows inside the ride at all times.
Have you charged your phone? Does it have a full battery?
Speaking of off topic, there's a ride here at Disney called Space Mountain.
Do we need to know the
where people get decapitated if they don't do exactly what you just said?
It is vital.
Does this have any bearing on the Destiny 2 podcast? No.
It's about keeping arms and legs inside the ride, dude. If you don't, it could be fatal.
These people don't have ghosts to resurrect them.
Exactly.
So this week at Bungie for the 11th of February, 2021.
Season kicked off with a bang. We have a new title. She's an empress. She's got tusks. It's good times. Zavala was like, "No, I'm not gonna, make a deal with you." And we stepped into another war with the Cabal. So here we are, back right again at the beginning of Destiny 1.
And as it's probably been tweeted and reposted across the whole of the Destiny internet. Lance Reddick, is it Lance Reddick? Lance Reddick has re-recorded lines for that opening speech to Keitel. So we will link that in the show notes if you are interested in seeing what he says via somebody on, I think it was Reddit, wasn't it? They contacted him or Twitter.
Make sure
said,
you get
"Could you
the
read
version.
this?"
Make sure you have the version where it shows him, because the version that I saw in the chat is just a picture of Zavala, right? But there's that recording. He does face to face with you as he's doing the voice, and I think that's way better than just the picture of Zavala. So make sure it's the right one.
Really funny, worth a watch.
Because his facial expressions also kind of sell it too. So
they're so good.
So Peroty, there is a new seasonal challenge, and the helm has opened its doors for you. Have you visited such a helm?
I have visited the helm. We have first located the helm. We have visited the helm. We are very pleased you can go directly to the helm. It is mildly irritating not to be able to walk from the helm to the tower and back unless I've missed something. But I'm happy at least it's a place you can just go to from orbit. You don't have to go into the tower and climb down where Saint 14 hangs out and crawl back there behind 6 air vents to get there, which is, I feel like, sort of a typical Bungie style. We'll let you get there, but it's going to be a mission. You have to bring the ring to Mordor, then you get into the helm.
Well, I'm still sticking with the fact that it's in the old tower, and that's why we can't travel from one to the other, because it's in the old tower. It's been built up. That's where it is. That's why we can't kind of transmat there. It has to be fly to orbit and back down again.
There's helm, there's wreckage and fire and death, and then there's the tower. So it's fine. Just don't go between the two with the no man's land, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Is nobody going to mention how Crow's in the helm now?
You told me that wasn't Crow. I told you it was Crow yesterday, and you said that's not Crow.
No, that's the Hunter Vanguard.
I don't have one of those. He died.
It will be.
See, you visit Crow in the Tangled Shore, and then he runs really, really fast to get to the helm before you, so he can be there waiting for you.
And he changes clothes in the process.
Yeah. And after his costume change, he's not even out of breath or anything. I did walk down there, and I was like, why are you here? How are you here?
You know why he's here. Because Bungie told us he would be somewhere else.
He would.
He did. It's just always fun to go see people in 2 different places. It's like, now I'm Crow, now I'm New Crow, now I'm Crow, now I'm New Crow.
Phoenix gave me that. It's like, why is he here? Where has he been? Where has he come from? Phoenix, too many questions. But
why is he here? Why won't he go away?
I felt sorry for my kids this week because they've got back into playing Destiny again, and
is that why?
Yes. No, but it was confusing for them when they first loaded up because they haven't got the season pass, so it didn't take them straight into a battlegrounds. So we had to take them. I had to figure out why Phoenix had loads of Umbral engrams already because he was playing so much, but he couldn't go to the helm. Even though it was on the director, he didn't know it was there. But he couldn't go there because he hadn't done the battlegrounds part. So we had to go and do the battlegrounds on Nessus first, but you had to do it via going to Nessus, and then you had to do the one on Europa via going to the one on the Europa map, and then you could then travel to the helm. So I think.
So did it not start you? Did it not walk you through that without the season pass to sort of dump you in and go, "Good luck. Hope you figure it out."
It did for me.
No, yeah, it did for me. But it didn't for the kids for some reason because they've got Xbox Game Pass, so they've got access to Beyond Light and all the extra bits, but they haven't got the season pass. And it showed them the cutscene. They had a couple of cutscenes that they could watch, but then that was it. They were just in orbit, and I don't know whether that was just maybe they pushed the button too many times of back to get out of the cutscene.
Right.
But
even that I thought. Because doesn't it take you right to Battlegrounds? I don't think there was an option to do anything else. I wonder if that's a bug or if that's by design. Because that's a real bad choice if it's by design without the season pass going, figure it out.
But even then, pushing back and just leaving them in orbit, they didn't know where to go after that. It wasn't like a big flasher on the screen like we've had in previous iterations of Destiny 2. Yeah. A big thing on the screen saying, you must go here first. You must do this because you've pushed back too many times. It was kind of
request. Good luck.
Yeah,
that's weird. I'm always I'm actually kind of glad you play with the kids without the season pass because I'm always sort of curious, what is the experience like without the pass? I always assumed it was like a 1-to-1. Other than you don't get the day one drops and the weapon and all the all the extra seasonal pass activities, but I sort of assumed that it would at least take you through the beginning cinematic and drop you into the battleground since that's available to everybody.
Yeah.
But that's to leave you in orbit. It's like that was the whole problem with Destiny to begin with. It's here's a bunch of planets, figure out where to go. Hope you have fun. Like there's no guy. There wasn't even the part of the season where, at least on Xbox, you hit the left trigger and it pops out the little menu like, hey, here's the next thing you have to do. Go here and talk to this person. Just,
it did that. When I was looking on Indiana's screen, it did that for her. You push the left tab and it came out and said, you must go here. I think she had the Wrathborn thing to start off with. She had the Battlegrounds and something else on there. But it wasn't flashing on Nessus to say, go here and play this if you want to do the Battlegrounds. Because, I thought maybe you could go straight to Europa and just play the one on Europa. So you have to go to the one on Nessus first, and then you have to go to Europa. If you don't follow how the actual game taking you by hand, if you accidentally come out of it or it doesn't take you there.
Yeah, now I'm super curious if that's the experience everybody had, or if it was a bug, or like you said, just hitting back too many times and short circuiting and going, nope, just take me to orbit.
Yeah. Because I don't think they wanted to watch it. Sorry.
While we're on the subject of PvE match-made activities, was Vex Offensive 3-player or 6-player?
6.
No,
it was
the
6.
Vex Offensive was 3. When you talking about a couple of seasons ago, right?
It felt like more. I thought it was more than 3.
No, the Vex
felt like more.
Where it teleports you to that other place covered in grass and rocks and stuff, and you had
The
to
Black
use the
Garden.
Yeah, you had to use the little crystals to destroy the special enemies and whatnot. That was a 3-person activity, dude.
That was 6.
Okay.
That was 3.
So it was definitely more than 3.
It was definitely.
It was
because I went into that with more than 2 other people. It was definitely more than 3.
Yeah.
All right, let's look it up. Okay. Tick, 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 tick. How many people?
I can really tell that everyone here is
Live in Florida?
informed on Destiny.
Wait, hold on, guys.
This is why we edit the podcast.
Hey, chat. Hey, Respawn chat. Tell him he's wrong and it was 6 players. Come on, chat. This is how the streamers do it, right? They talk to the chat and the chat tells them.
Yeah, talk to the chat. Talk to the chat.
You don't have to actually Google.
You know
assuming there's
Google,
a chat
Google is also wrong. Okay, we can't trust Google.
Every search I do tells me 6 people. It was 3. It's a conspiracy.
It was absolutely 3. Google is wrong. Google dislikes me and is out to get me.
Yeah, no, I'm like,
yes,
but there being a mob of people there running around firing rockets into the stupid Vex, waiting for the time gate to finish.
Listen,
no. The Frozen Clan doesn't use rockets.
Well, we do.
We do. It just doesn't end well.
Yeah, we absolutely do. We just don't learn our lesson.
Yeah.
To earn Frozen points, it's by blowing your teammates up, having them rocket into a bubble, a shield, a wall, or if you're going for a next level challenge, the sword of the Warlock's if you fire a rocket into that and blow yourself up, that's some next level Frozening right there.
Yo, I felt bad for you guys the other day while I was doing the PC raid, and with the Eyes of Tomorrow, I just detonated myself. So, shout out to Frozen, the old days, right?
You nerfed yourself. Good job.
I nerfed myself.
Have you got any messages in the chat yet?
No, I don't have people watching the chat. I don't think I do.
You do.
Oh, you need that one guy to tell you, don't give up, man. You'll blow up one day.
He hasn't been watching the chat all day because I've been sending him a whole bunch of messages and he has been responding. There were 2 other people. His best friend Bipolar was in there.
Oh, Bipolar's here, and so is Bergen. Oh my God. I hate myself, guys. I'm so sorry.
See, we are not streamers or YouTubers, as we say. Clearly, we are not. We are ill-equipped for this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the reason I didn't watch it is because I can hear myself talk now, and 5 seconds later, I hear what I just said through the stream. So
you can mute the
I just did mute it, yes, but I'm just saying that's why I normally don't have that up.
But are you guys ready for the stranger to give you a new collection of stasis aspects and fragments to earn, giving you more combat options to choose from? A new landing zone has been added to the northern reaches of Europa to help you complete quests a bit quicker, and new exotic armor pieces added, and 1 per class for you to discover. They gave us a new landing zone that's not between the first 2. Like I kind of thought they would, just to mess with us.
Hold on.
Yeah. You can now go to the Eventide Ruins. I think it's Eventide Ruins, the northern
Eventide Ruins.
Yeah. Up there in good old northern Europa. You no longer have to go on again the quest to Mordor to get there. You can just zone in there, and you're there. It's beautiful.
Wow, it's a thing.
And even if you haven't, purchased your Beyond Light just yet, we've added, updated power floors to help you get caught up in raids, dungeons, and general quests. So if you're looking to spend some time on ritual activities like strikes, Crucible, or Gambit, we've added some new weapons for you to hunt. And word on the street is there's a pretty spicy 120 RPM hand cannon, the bottom dollar, which I'm sure that Bungie put into the game for one reason: to make people play Gambit to farm the hand cannon. That's their diabolical plan. Farm the hand cannon from Gambit, then take it into Crucible and Trials and murder everybody with it.
Everybody keeps talking about the hand cannon. I really need to look that up because I haven't seen that.
But saying that,
yeah,
they've put the True Prophecy back in the loot pool, so you can go to you can go to Banshee and dump all your weapon parts and see if you can get it. But it's only going to be viable up until the end of this season. But they have put it back in the loot pool.
Yeah, and 19 to your point,
5,192.
Oh,
it's worth it.
Dear sir, that's nothing. That'll take you no time at all. But 19, to your point, you said, hey, my mountaintop had gotten up to 1100. They moved the power floor to 1100 on everything. So all of your old 1060 gear is now 1100 gear. If you haven't dismantled it yet.
No, I haven't. And yeah, I thought it was quite funny that it's slowly moving up, but on Destiny Night Manager it says the power cap for this is 1060, but I'm like, but it says 1100. So surely you should just change that to say the power cap is going to be whatever the base power cap is going to be from now on. So if you hold on to this, it's still just going to grow in power. It's not going to be worth it, but it's still going to grow in power.
And 19 will give us a season by season update on where his mountaintop and select other weapons have gone to as they increase in the power cap, because I know he's going to hold on to them because that's his job here.
It's not his job. He's addicted to it, man. He's one of those pack rats you see on TV that you make fun of. He's that guy, but digitally.
But I mean, no. But you seriously, we brought this up last night. I think Respawn and I were talking to Fuzco, and apart from doing raids, doing trials, and doing Iron Banner this season. And possibly if you want to do the Lost Sectors, you could play the rest of the game without even having to worry about sunsetting weapons, sunsetting armor. You just, put on whatever you want and go and play some strikes. If they've raised the power cap for that and you enjoy playing that, or if you just enjoy playing Crucible, take those old guns into Crucible. There's nothing from stopping you from still wrecking face with those. It's just, I mean, I got destroyed by a recluse in comp this week. I was like, what? People are still rocking this?
There's no reason not to. If the light's not enabled, and that's what we said when sunsetting was a thing. Everyone's like, oh, set these. It's like, but in many cases it doesn't matter, or they're going to give you something better. And the numbers always show. I think we were talking to Fusco. I don't remember who else a couple weeks ago. It's like, what weapons are people using in the game? I can't remember if it was raid or trials or it was some specific thing we were looking at. Like I look at the Gambit meta from time to time just to see what people are using in there, and it's always like, here's the 3 newest things that have dropped, because it's always here's the latest thing that come out to the game, and then whatever either broken or overpowered or old standby is there. It's like every single time. That's what it is. It'll be Hawk Moon until something else new gets released, and then it'll be whatever the new hotness is.
And now the awkward silence that usually gets edited out.
No, we can't have radio silence.
Yeah, this is why Respawn talks so much.
Yeah, Respawn fills all the voids. Well, I mean, I was just making some space for our patch notes travelers to show up.
Patch notes travelers.
Oh, please don't make that another song.
He absolutely does. Every time I always, because outside of the podcast, I always do stupid little things like that. And I keep forgetting that my habit outside of the podcast gets translated into real world songs because of his editing.
Coming soon, fall 2022, Werewolf Songs presents Respawn Sings.
Awoo! 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 Awoo!
Copyrighted. Paul Simon already has that.
Growl, snarl,
we'll
random howl.
figure it out. We'll change some E's to 3s and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Oh god.
So, truth be told, it can be sometimes difficult to coordinate with multiple teams to ensure every bug, every fix, every minor tweak, or major feature is covered in the patch notes documented, as Respawn is currently aware of. Respawn's always aware of it, aren't you, Respawn? How many take-a-drinks do we have each week? Because something's been missed out of the patch notes.
Yeah. Well, no. We take the drink because people say, "Hey, we've heard you," or "Hey, we're looking into it." You know, you take a drink when they say something completely useless or pointless, right? Like, why? This helps us in no way, shape, or form. That's when you take a drink. If they've forgotten something, that's not take a drink, unless the thing that they've forgotten is also useless and helps nothing.
Well, something that isn't useless and does help you a little bit more is the quest details. So they've changed how you can now view the quest tab. So once you hover over a quest, you can now actually press its Y on Xbox to actually inspect it, and it'll give you a broader detail about what you're actually kind of doing on your quest step. It opens up a bigger page and goes through what you need to kind of do. And they show this in the trial. So it says taking a narrative context and visual theme of the quest, understand what the quest is asking of you and what to do, and what you've done already, and get a better look at the rewards for completing the quest. So that's their reasoning behind it.
Yeah, and that's really nice. One, I just appreciate the design and the layout and the look of all these. I think they're really beautiful to look at. And two, it's really nice to have the whole quest laid out, because nothing is more frustrating than being like, "Hey, can you help me with the Thorn quest?" Great, where are you? I'm on this step. Well, where is that? I don't know. Is that further along or further back than what I am? Oh, I did this quest 6 months ago. I don't know where I am in it. So it's nice to be able to be like, okay, you're on this step, I'm on this step. Let's sync up our steps, get to where we need to be on the same page, and then move forward with it, or at least know if I need to do this or not. So it's nice to see all the whole 9 steps of the quest without having to frantically look up, hey, what are the steps of this quest, and which one have you done? Does this sound familiar?
Yeah.
Always wanting to know what the next quest step is, and there's all the little sub quotes and the little storylines that go with each quest step. And I'm a big lore guy, so I always want to look at what each individual quote is, who it's from, get the quest step, and just the visual appeal. So I really like that they're finally doing that with our tons and tons of quest tabs.
Yeah, they're putting more effort into the API of, and I suppose it is kind of helping a lot more players that aren't kind of on that auto track of I know what to do. I mean, there are some days that I get on and I'm looking at a quest and I'm like, what do I need to do? I need to go to YouTube and have a look at something to figure out where I'm going next, because this isn't that explanatory. So yeah, it's good that they've put that into the game now.
Yeah, and hopefully it'll be precise and correct, and not just go get kills on a planet with a thing, but not here, but not like that, but do it this way. So many times it's like, okay, I've gone to Nessus and I've shot Vex with a hand cannon. Why isn't this progressing? Oh, it has to be like this, or with this thing, or there's always some stipulation, which maybe because I'm just not reading clearly, or maybe because it's bugged, or maybe just because
stand on the box.
Right, stand on the box, wait for Andy to shoot out from under you. Got it.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's just when they only had 8 words or 10 words or whatever would fit into that space. It's like, we gave you the words we thought would make this clear, but it's not clear because there are now many YouTube videos about it.
Yeah.
So hopefully this will give them the space to actually explain to us what they're trying to do.
So they're excited to build upon the quest detail screen in future updates with more improvements to the quest experience. And they have some general patch notes that they wanted to kind of go over. So rituals, they've removed some of Hawthorne's Red War era dialogue when completing her clan challenges. Because, that was really irritating. Has anybody actually cared? No?
Which seems silly because we're just back in, the new Red War.
Another Red War.
Yeah.
It
seemed like the perfect time to leave it back in. Just, we're fighting the Cabal again. It'll be fine. Just replace Gaul with Gaul with Keitel, and it'll be fine. Just use the same dialogue.
Yeah, Red War 2, die harder. So players can now turn in gunsmith material 100 at a time, which was quite nice. I like that.
Oh, yeah.
And Vanguard tokens 20 at a time, enough to get a full rank.
Yeah, someone on Reddit was like, you can now turn in all your gunsmith materials with 1 click per rank, and it's amazing. Which will be nice when I, I would say farm for true prophecy, but let's be honest, it's not going to happen. I'm going to wait until they decommission gunsmith materials and turn in those, and then feel silly that I've wasted my time.
And you remember those huge banners that you had across your screen every time you ranked up in Valor, Glory, Infamy? They're gone. They're now at the bottom of the screen and no longer blocking players from taking action.
I know. I love it. That is my favorite improvement.
So Valor, Glory, and Infamy values are now available on the main director screen for that ritual.
Never mind.
So wait, does not even pause. What do you want? Go ahead and say it, man.
The Crucible reward system is each rank, you no longer have tokens, you get a set reward.
Mm-hmm.
With Vanguard, you turn in tokens, and with Gambit, you don't turn in tokens and you don't have set rewards.
You have set rewards
for Gambit as well as Crucible.
Okay. So it's just Vanguard that doesn't have the set rewards track.
At the moment, yes.
And he likes the way they jingle in his pocket. It makes him happy.
Every time that you rank up also with Crucible, and I'm guessing with Gambit as well, every time that you rank up, I think, a sub-level, you get an actual engram. So there's that track underneath, or just above where you can pick up the bounties that will give you, like, the Pinnacle is one of them, and then you can get some enhancement cores, you get a shader as you progress along to like 2000 Glory or whatever it is, or Valor. But in the top right hand corner there's an actual engram for leveling up each time that you do get to a different stage. So if you've been playing Crucible or Gambit, go and check that as well, because there'll be some engrams there you can pick up. I think they're about 20 or 30 light lower than what your actual light is, similar to how it was in the last couple of seasons every time you turned in tokens. So you are still getting those token rewards from an engram.
Yeah, that was real disappointing because I honestly didn't even notice it at first. Like on the Crucible, like sort of in the upper right hand corner, that's sort of where like those engrams were being stashed. I had like 3 or 4 of them between Crucible and Gambit, and I picked them up, and it was like 30 points lower than where I was. I'm going, this is nice, I guess. You're just giving me more stuff, but it's not useful stuff. So I don't know.
You never know. It might be the God roll.
No, I will never know because I just delete them immediately unless they're something particularly better than what I have.
Even if it is the God roll.
I've deleted so many God rolls, let me tell you. I'm sure I've deleted all the God rolls.
Apparently, in Gambit, they've reworked the moat system for a more reliable gathering. But then saying that, I noticed this morning when I was looking on Twitter that there was another issue that Respawn will get to later on. Iron Banner, they've removed the skill-based matchmaking list from the Iron Banner tooltip. So this was when you hovered over it. So they've removed that now because along with the rest of Crucible since June of 2020, it's connection. So it was skill-based, but it's now, it's always been connection since June. So they've removed that nasty little tooltip that was upsetting people.
Yeah, so they just lied to you. So to be clear, they haven't changed how Iron Banner works. They changed the sign on Iron Banner that was lying to you.
Yes.
And what I found funny this week was Respawn was playing Survival, getting ready for trials on Friday, and I said to him, there's been a life count change in Survival from 6 to 4, and the Respawn time has now changed from 7 to 5. And he was like, I haven't noticed anything. It's like, really observant there.
I hyper focus in the game, dude. You of all people know that, man. I'll hyper focus inside what I'm doing and just kind of.
I was asking you
everything else.
I said to you, how does it feel? Do you feel it better with the 4 lives now rather than 6? And you were like, what?
It didn't even. I mean, it honestly didn't, right? I'm there to fight and kill. I was fighting and killing, regardless of how many times I have to fight and or kill or die, right? It doesn't change, It's just. I mean, I guess overall the matches were shorter, but when you go from one match to the next, it all just kind of blurs anyway. So honestly, I didn't notice. I'm sorry if I wasn't, like giving you all this feedback. Oh no, it's great, and it's game changing. And thank God, Destiny developers know what they're doing, and 200 plus years experience or something. What are we talking about?
The irony is that Respawn mains a hunter and a warlock, and yet he's concerned with the Titan aspects of the game, shooting and killing.
Listen, in real life, I'm also a Marine. And I used to play...
Thank you for your service.
I used to... Well, no, this comes into play because I used to play my hunter like a Titan. And I wasn't doing very well in trials. And not trials, but in PvP.
Definitely
and somebody...
we've heard before.
Well, he hasn't. I'm telling him directly.
Now the podcast can enjoy it in the full uncut Respawn edition.
But yeah, so I think it was it you, Peroty? I don't know who it was. I'll be honest with you, but somebody pointed that out. Like, hey, you're a Titan main, but you play like a. I'm sorry, damn it, God! You're a hunter main, but you play like a Titan. And once I realized that, I was like, oh yeah, well, I started to hold back and use mid to long range fights, and my game improved drastically. So whoever reminded me of that, thank you. I appreciate it. Even if I don't remember you.
Even Respawn stuttering works against him.
Yeah. Everything works against me.
So in new light, a Guardian rises, destroying the spider tank in the Divide will now progress the director by 50%. And they fixed an issue where veteran accounts that start a new character could not progress or dismiss some tutorials.
Learn the game. Oh, learn the game. I'm trying to.
I know the game. Schism.
I promise. You don't.
Fixed an issue where players could jump to a wall during Navoto vignette and block their mission progress. Cold Boot fixed an issue for veteran players playing the New Light quest that would cause the legendary weapon tutorial to persist through the entire mission. Risk and Reward, the Risk Runner. So fixed an issue where
The Whisk Runner.
He's hunting a wascally weapon. With a Whisk Runner. We're sorry, guys. If you have a list, we're not making fun of you.
You are.
We're making fun of Demon.
No, you are.
I do have a list. I do have a list, and I embrace it.
Yeah, I have a list. Obviously, 108 episodes in. If you haven't noticed that I have a list, then who are you listening to?
No, you have something else. Fixed an issue where players with full energy weapon inventory slots would have Risk Runner sent to the postmaster upon pickup. The weapon now drops as an exotic engram during the mission, allowing players to clear the room in their inventories if they wish to pick up their Risk Runner immediately. And the Forsaken campaign fixed an issue where players would see a questful message when trying to start the Forsaken campaign, forcing them to find and pick up the quest at the quest archives in the tower before proceeding.
That nobody knows where it is, so they would never find it, never being able to progress their quest at all.
Yes.
Be that as it may, I have nothing to say in that regard.
Oh. Well, you could.
Speaking of...
Go ahead, Joker.
I always seem to talk right as someone else starts. And
that's right. We always do that.
Shutting down.
Yeah. That's why we have multi-track recording, so it doesn't matter.
Yay. Speaking of the Forsaken campaign, I think someone did a short video on this. If you play the first mission of I know you probably can't do that anymore, the first mission of the Season of the Hunt seasonal campaign, and then while the Forsaken campaign is active, you have Uldren Sov and Petrovenge in the same room staring at each other.
Very nice.
It's quite fun.
That's got to be awkward as hell.
Only if you make it.
She's just standing over there in the corner with her hand on her knife, just watching Uldren Sov talking to Spider.
Yeah, because we still, in the lore, we still don't know who shot him, us or her. So, you know?
Han.
Don't say things like this on the podcast, because you know Arf's going to come back and go, I told you this, stop being silly and making silly remarks.
No, I'm pretty sure he even said it too. They never said who actually killed it. It's understood that we as Guardians killed her, but I'm pretty sure they've never specified who actually did it. And if I am wrong, Arf, I invite you to correct me probably again.
Han shot
like the 15th wish, no one knows.
Right.
Oh, it's just as bad as the 7th chest, the hidden chest in the Vault of Glass. You know that's going to show up now. You know that 7th hidden chest is going to show up in Destiny 2, and they go, "It was there all along, guys."
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It was. It's on the roof.
You just couldn't get to it until now.
Yeah,
you just couldn't get to it until now.
It was just an area we had blocked off, and you couldn't get to it. Whoops.
Yeah.
Sad. Do we have a shout-out section of the podcast where we can say, hey, thanks to this guy or that guy for doing something?
If you're shouting me out, you can do that anytime.
Just sort of
No, it's not Respawn.
Something
it needs to be Respawn. Whoever it is, change it to Respawn.
Like I would like to shout out the people who we played in trials yesterday who were actually like as competent as we were, and we actually stood a chance.
Mm-hmm. Competent meaning as bad as we are.
What?
That's the most underhand. Okay, go ahead. Finish, Peroty.
No, I mean, if you feel down to the appropriate level that we were, and over to Joker.
I do have a couple. I do have a couple shout outs. So first one is to a Sheltel05 and Thanos X for getting me through my first ever Shattered Throne, and then running Prophecy with me on my Hunter to get some gear a couple nights ago. Great time. I farmed out a couple catalysts. It was a lot of fun. So great guys.
No, I would.
That's all.
Your shout out is fine. I was sighing at the fact that just if you're watching the stream, you saw what happened. Don't worry about it.
We don't worry about what Respawn has happened to him. That's not important to the podcast.
Yeah, no, it's not. That's why just move on. Continue.
But just know that every week it is important. This week, if you're watching or if you find it on his Twitch stream later, this is the full experience. I want you to enjoy every off-topic moment.
Yeah, so
it's not that
the guys that we played in trials that we'd like to shout out, and we did thank them because they were on our skill level, and we just about beat them. Are Velociraptor Pum, Mr. Jambamba, and CDR-BLY 5052. Thank you very much for our solo win.
Think of the other like normal group of people who said, "Let's set foot in the trials. This won't be 90 minutes of suffering," and it was, and you know it's going to be. But it's nice to see other people also go in there to get their teeth kicked in all day. But at least you get a weapon out of it. Something.
So Respawn, why don't you tell us about the Destiny Content Vault and the Cosmodrome?
Alrighty, that's on the TWAB.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because he's
read the TWAB
right now.
No, I'm doing this right now. Ha ha ha! But you thought I was going to do something else, didn't you? Okay, cool. Now I just got to find what you're talking about. Okay, this season, 2 strikes from Destiny 1 are making their entrance to Destiny 2 through the Destiny Content Vault. We have a quick update on our plans for the Cosmodrome from the development team. And this is from the dev team. Last summer, when we revealed our plans for Destiny 2 Content Vault, we cycle out older, underused content to improve our ability to evolve Destiny 2. We also committed to periodically unvaulting legacy content, merging some of the best that Destiny 1 and 2 has to offer. That announcement included the reveal. There was a period there, by the way. That announcement included the reveal that the Cosmodrome would be returning and that it would be fleshed out to roughly Destiny 1 Year 1 parody. Mm-hmm. Not you, Peroty, the other Peroty. When we first shared our plans, we were still early in dev and uncertain how far we could go with locations added to the Year 1 DLCs or the awesome colony ship behind Sepic's Lair with the Taken King. Sorry for hitting the mic. What about all of the public patrol spaces? How much of Cosmo would you need in order to accomplish our goals, having a great space to tell the new Guardian origin story while still giving veteran players a big dose of nostalgia via some updates to the Strike playlist?
I need all the Cosmo and more.
Okay. So, as we approached Beyond Light's launch, it became clear that we had a choice to make. After returning all 3 of its original strikes, do we invest more time and resources into bringing Cosmodrome to D1 parity, or do we switch our focus to building new experiences for Year 4 and beyond? Given that we believed we had achieved our original goals and knowing the community team's desire for new content, we chose the latter option. But when we made that decision, we failed to properly update your expectations for how far the Cosmodrome experience was going to be extended, and that was a mistake. So, to clear things up, with the Devil's Lair and Fallen Saber strikes returning, we don't have any active plans to add more to the Cosmodrome than what is there will be focusing on new updates overall. I just had a stroke. What the hell? We will continue to use the Destiny Content Vault to drive variety in the live game in the future. The Cosmodrome was our first big push, and later this year, the Vault of Glass will return. Dun, 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 dun. We will share more later this year.
Have you guys got any thoughts on that?
I love the Cosmodrome from D1, and it's a beautiful space. And as they said, nostalgic. I think I've spent maybe an hour there.
You played D1, right?
I played D1.
Okay.
There's no reason to go there. There's no quests. There's no missions. I deleted my Titan when Beyond Light dropped, and then I remade him so I could play the intro campaign.
Well, if you are going to delete something, that would be the one to delete.
Delete the Titan.
That's
yes.
right.
But the new opening quest, which I do like Shahan and introducing him, but the new quest is very long and tedious, and once you're done, there's no reason to go back to the Cosmodrome. And
was broken last season. Because I picked up the new light quest from the kiosk in the tower to play because I was curious because we had talked about on the show, and I think Nitedemon had either played it or played it with his kids, and so I was curious what the new light experience was, or what the new D2 experience was for people. So I picked the quest line up, and it is long and it feels a little tedious. Probably again because I've played this game for a billion years now. But it was also broken last season, and when you got to the point where it was like go play Crucible, go play Gambit, earn a couple of engrams, and earn some infamy, valor, and it just didn't work. It just did not give
it never earned valor.
Yeah, so they fixed that this season. Like they were aware of it. They fixed it with the drop of this season.
Yay.
But it was irritating to be like, go play this quest. It's very broken, and now you've got two quests that you debate. And you go, do I want to delete these because I don't need anything out of them, or do I want to play them through? And I just left them and played them through, but. Yeah, it was definitely a good intro to the game where I feel like it should have been there to begin with. But yeah, to the point of nobody knowing where the kiosk is, there's a kiosk in the tower left of the postmaster that you can pick this up from. But nobody knows to go there because it's very hidden. What are your thoughts, Nitedemon? I know you have.
I actually don't know what kiosk you're talking about.
It's next to the postmaster, no. To the left of the postmaster.
Hang a left, walk straight, there's a kiosk.
Down at the side of the stairs. Down at the side of the stairs there.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go check that out.
Mm-hmm. That's where the year 3 Galahorn is.
Sorry.
I suppose I'm kind of with you guys on this, that it's very nostalgic being back there. It's really nice. But apart from doing the strike that we had, the Omnigul strike again, and the 2 lost sectors, and maybe going there to help my kids do various different missions when they're starting up their new light quest. Yeah, it seemed a good idea. It seemed, a good idea to bring it all back and just have it there. But then I think they've come to the realization of, why are we doing this? Why are we wasting time and effort in putting this all back when it's not integral to the story moving forward? So I do get that, but then maybe they shouldn't have jumped ahead and gone, we're going to bring the whole of the Cosmodrome back, and then get people's expectations up. Just say, we're bringing back some of the Cosmodrome. That's all they needed to say. And then they had free reign of how much they were going to bring back. And maybe we could have, gone without it for the beginning part of last season to have the Cosmodrome back, and have it come back this season, because the Battlegrounds are going to be taking place there next week. So it would have been perfect to drop the Battlegrounds next week and have us going back to explore the opening of the Cosmodrome with Shahan. So maybe you've put him on the other side of that wall, so we couldn't go through to, do the moth yards and everywhere else that's there and where all the planes are. So you could only go to certain parts. It was all blocked off. But then as this expansion over the next couple of weeks kind of opened up with the Cabal invading and different things, it could have opened up slightly to then get a little bit more nostalgia and points of reference for new story, if you know what I mean. So it actually did play into it rather than it just kind of suddenly appearing. I think that might have been a little bit better.
Yeah.
Speaking of sure hands, the steady hand cannon for Iron Banner, what is the deal with that new meta making gun?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, you said sure hands, and I'm segueing into steady hands.
Yeah,
You said Shahan, because that's the name of the guy.
You said you said Shahan. I heard sure hands.
oh, sure hands, yeah.
The tricky British pronunciation gets you every time. It's all those extra U's that threw you.
My bad. I heard sure hands, and I thought, oh, well, I've been wanting to ask about the steady hand.
Like you subscribe to Houndish on YouTube to get all Night Demons updates. That's his alter ego.
Oh my!
It's
pardon my hearing.
It's a decent hand cannon, but it's not a true prophecy. And
all the kids like it though. All of them.
No, all the kids like the true prophecy. Us hardcorers, we hang on.
They can get the true prophecy, so it's all about the steady hand.
No, it's back now. I told you it's back. You can get
it.
I
was saying up until now. I know. I listened.
Sorry, we can get back to the Cosmodrome. I saw a segue and took it and failed the segue. So back to the Cosmodrome.
No, you haven't failed the segue. We're in the segue. What do you want to talk about with the hand cannon?
It's the Cosmodrome. There's no reason to go back to, so we're done with the Cosmodrome. We're all bored with it. Moving on to the hand cannon.
Yeah,
all about hand cannon.
Good. Love you, Cosmodrome. Goodbye. Well, when the Iron Banner came up, that was the hand cannon to get. I mean, I know you got it for the quest, but once you got it, you could farm rolls for it, and I was just getting killed like clockwork with that in the Crucible. It was so good, and people were instantly masterworking it with a good roll. My roll on it is not great.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've got Zen Moment and Iron Gaze or Iron Grip, one of the two, and it's good, but it's just it's a 3-tap, and it's got amazing range, and people were just sniping with it.
Yeah, it seems to be the 120s have all come up, and they're really good.
It's a hand cannon. It's a Crucible. What?
It's a Crucible hand cannon. Got him!
I deleted all of mine.
I've tried.
That's very brave of you.
I have tried to use it.
He just can't. He can't be bothered. I'm sorry, Demon. We've both interrupted you, dude.
No, it's fine.
Pardon.
He's used to it.
Yeah.
Continue, sir.
Just more children in his life that he has to deal with. That's all.
Dipolar wants to add Bungie, please. No more hand cannons. We've had enough hand cannons. We're long past.
Bet you'll be super excited. The palindrome hand cannon's coming back. Aren't we excited?
No. Which is
back so many hand cannons. It's going to be amazing. The hand cannon. Guys, get that new hand cannon. It's a hand cannon.
It's going to be a 140, so it's not going to be in the niche of the 120s.
They're going to tweak the meta. It's going to be great. It's going to be all Volta class weapons, all hand cannons, nothing but hand cannons. You're going to be able to run 3 hand cannon loadouts. That's the pinnacle experience of Destiny. Nothing but hand cannons.
No. Speaking of chosen things, let's talk about the chosen one.
So much chosen.
The one true chosen one? Who's come back to lead us against like a ball? Because we stepped into a war with them?
Uh-oh. Say it
again.
No, not that one.
So we're talking about choosing to fix things? Choosing to give us a little update? A little 3.1.0.1 update? Coming on Thursday? Oh, plot twist. Thursday, February 14th. Or sorry, February 18th. Today is the 14th. Numbers are hard. So yeah, Thursday. So basically 2 or 3 days after you listen to this. We're getting an update, 3.1.0.1. Or, whenever Nitedemon gets around to it. It might be up by the 18th. We make no guarantees here. You get it when you get it, and you don't get upset. But you know what you do get? On the 17th of February at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1800 UTC, Destiny is going to have some background maintenance. About at 2 p.m. Pacific, 2200 UTC, your background maintenance is complete, so you don't have to care about that at all until they break something and kick you offline. But, yeah, it could happen. February 18th at 8 a.m. Pacific or 1600 UTC, we're going to have our maintenance for hotfix 3.1.0.1 beginning. And 45 minutes later, you're going to be kicked out of whatever you're doing. So don't start anything important because you're not going to finish it. 15 minutes after that, at 9 a.m. Pacific, 1700 UTC, 3.101 rolls out across all the platforms and all the regions and all the land, Simba. As far as the internet can reach, the update will be there. And you can log back into D2 at that time. Now remember, ongoing maintenance is expected to conclude an hour later, and that means all of your apps are offline, all of your APIs are not going to work. All those things you rely on in the game aren't going to function yet. At 10 a.m. Pacific, 1800 UTC, D2 maintenance is expected to conclude, and all your apps and things should be working again. Keeping in mind the official Bungie app is on that list. It will also not work while maintenance is on, so you can't pick up your bounties from orbit. You have to go to the tower to visit the peoples. But again, expect the maintenance to go another couple extra hours because games are hard and things don't work right. And so what are we getting in this hotfix? Why should we care? Well, your salvager's salvo can now be reclaimed from your collections. Your vendor tooltip will no longer say they require trials tokens to rank up reputation. The Whisper of Callus stasis fragment will now properly grant damage resistance when standing near frozen enemies. Or frozen
Whisper of Callus? Whisper of Chains?
Whisper of Change. Woo, wow.
The Whisper of Callus.
Leviathan's coming back?
Some TLDR from Callus there, Blake?
The Whisper of Callus.
Not TLDR. What's it called? Where they whisper sweet nothings in your ear. There's an acronym for it. Come on,
I don't know.
There's an emote for it.
Yeah, let's try that again. The Whisper song. I saw that capital C. My brain just went Callus. Clearly, that's where we're going. The Whisper of Chains stasis fragment will now properly grant you damage resistance when standing near frozen enemies and frozen clanmates.
ASMR, that's what it is. Thank you. ASMR. Some Callus ASMR.
I don't think that's how that works at all, but sure. Swapping between the Challenger medallions or Cabal runes in the Hammer of Proving will now refund the currencies used. Steam, you guys had some launch issues. Apparently, when the game started, they released the update. You couldn't. So they're investigating the reports of people being unable to launch Destiny 2 from Steam at all, and we'll provide more information. If you are seeing this issue, please send reports to the #help forum so Bungie can try to figure out why Steam is broken and why you're no longer allowed to play Destiny 2. It's not because you're hunters. It's fine. I promise you. It's not because you're hunters.
Boy.
Players should also be aware that the Beyond Light Plus Season Bundle and Destiny 2 Legendary Edition include a single Season Pass which will be applied to the account upon purchase. These bundles do not include more than one Season Pass. So presumably it's for the current season that you buy it for, not for the future seasons. And it wouldn't be an update without fixing some things and breaking different things. Sit back, relax, get ready. Remember how Bungie's like, we want you to go do things like, raids or dungeon completions? Well, Cabal Gold will not be dropping from raids or dungeon completions. So just go back to Gambit and Crucible. Don't do end-game activity to get basic things. It's not going to work. Socketing the Hammer of Proving prior to receiving a quest step. To do so will not complete the step. Players will need to resocket the hammer to progress.
That's
so wait
awesome.
for your teacher to explain the assignment before you begin the assignment. The Barrier Colossus champions and Battlegrounds Behemoth may walk out of their barrier shields.
Dude, I've seen that. Oh, so they're just walking out. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I thought one of my teammates did something really cool, and one of the barrier champions popped his shield, and my teammate hit him with a Titan shoulder charge and knocked him out of his shield. At least that's what it looked like from my perspective. But I guess he just walks out now. Is that how that works, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. He decided to take the Titan route of I'm going to pop the bubble and then step out of the bubble and think it's going to go well for me.
Idiot.
He should know it's not going to go well for him. But they'll pop their shield and then leave their shield. I don't know why, because they have a death wish.
Because I love that. Keep doing that, Bungie. That is not a bug. That is a feature, and I love it.
The Ascendant Shard from Crucible and Gambit ranks cannot be acquired with a full consumables inventory, even if there is room in your Ascendant Shard stack. So always keep a couple extra spaces so your Ascendant Shards don't go into the abyss. Bad news if you're running the Bump and Run Sparrow, the back half of it is missing.
What, Sparrow?
You're just riding around on a nose piece.
The bump and run sparrow, which were I better podcaster, I would tell you where it comes from or which sparrow it is. But it's the one that's missing the back half. So that's the one. Yeah. It's the one sitting in that yard up on blocks. That's the sparrow. The warlock.
I think it's the one from the Season of the Hunt starter pack.
Sure, we'll go with that. I don't know. The warlock Lucent Knight Universal Armor. The warlock Lucent Knight Universal Armor ornaments disappear from the appearance tab of armor when equipped. So it's a terrible ornament. It says Christmas ornaments at the bottom of the box. I got crushed. I think, as we mentioned either in conversation or maybe last week, the Dune Marchers linear actuators perk no longer activates. So don't run Dune Marchers. They no longer Dune March. They just regular march, and it's very disappointing.
Yep. And it's not even in cadence. It's not in step. It's really, really bad.
Yeah, no, it's some sort of dubstep. You have to wait for the bass to drop. It's terrible. Hey, Respawn, if you're missing multiple armor mods, including your hand cannon targeting, it's missing from some players' inventory. Probably with the back half of that Sparrow. They had it in the saddlebags, and it's just gone now.
They're in this. Yeah, they're in that Sparrow. As soon as we find one, we find the rest. But yeah, did you guys notice that there is no shotgun ammo finder? Whatever we had on our thing last season for the cost of one for shotguns, not only is it not here with this season, but it just doesn't exist.
Because it's missing from players' inventories?
No, it just doesn't exist. We looked it up. It doesn't exist. That's why they had it on the season pass last season, because they never bothered to make one. That season pass, damn it, our trinket, our.
Please don't take that as gospel, anybody. We don't want to hear. Just get in touch with him on Twitter if he's wrong.
No, I am of course wrong. Because I'm always wrong.
No one responds in real life. REALLIFE and tell him how he's wrong in the chat. Well, I'll continue to tell him that the 14th. Oh God, the 14th Anemone.
Anemone.
We're gonna have 14th. It's something ornament for the Kepri Sting, which apparently can be okay. So no, it's the ornament for the Helm of Saint 14. Apparently, you can also put it on the Kepri Sting now. I'm really curious how the helmet ornament on the
armor.
Wait,
yeah, that's an arm piece.
Yeah, so if you have the 14th CNM anemone for the Helm of Saint 14, try to put it on the Kepri Sting. Let me know how it works out for you.
I want you to try to say that again. Please just say it again.
The 14th CNM anemone. I'm not. I can't. ANAMNES. However you say that word, which I'm.
I'm blacking out. I can't breathe. Oh God.
The mantle of guys. Let's take a moment for the mantle of remembrance ornament that can show if it's been applied to the Aeon Swift, but it's actually for the Shinobu's vow. What is happening?
I don't know. But I think it's funny that Demon is working on 1 hour of sleep after 3 days, and we are the illiterate one.
Exactly. Man, that's stiff upper lip. He is holding together. We are just disasters.
Yeah.
Okay, so to recap, we have a Helm of Saint 14 ornament you can put on the Hunter's Kepri Sting arms. We have the Mantle of Remembrance ornament that can be applied to the Aeon Swift, but it's actually for the Shinobu's vow.
No, but they're showing that they can be applied, not that you can actually apply.
Oh, it shows it can be applied. Well, that's very
shows that it can be applied.
See, once again, the man on an hour sleep, absolutely crushing it. Absolutely carrying us through this trials run of a podcast. Step 2 of the Decrypting Darkness quest will not grant you a free Umbral engram when being completed on a second character. This is intentional, so don't do it.
Or do it. We don't care.
Hey, Respawn. Earlier in the podcast, did you happen to hit an anteater error code when your game was failing there? Or
I just went to black screen. I didn't get any code. It just went away. Yeah.
Well, I was watching your feed at the time, and it did say anteater. So
did it? Oh, okay.
They are investigating an increase.
Didn't even notice he's kicked out.
They're investigating.
No, I didn't get kicked out. I just restarted it. I guess while I was restarting, the anteater code popped up. Anyway, continue, Peroty.
Yeah, so they're investigating the increase in anteater error codes. So if you're running into those space anteaters, they're looking into it. The Vanguard 8 bounty challenge sometimes does not award brightness on completion because you've been bad and you don't deserve it. And the Caduceus. Caduceus.
Yeah, we go with that.
Yeah, that ornament.
Cicadas?
Cicadas? Yeah, I was thinking cicadas too.
Yeah, the cicada ornament, sometimes it shows it can be applied to the Aeon Soul, but it's actually for the Ophidian aspect. And the Eyes of Tomorrow is doing less damage than intended. So everyone who is screaming on Reddit, who made their YouTube videos about the Eyes of Tomorrow getting nerfed, and this is
It's a bug.
It's a bug.
Yeah.
Relax.
50% less damage than what it should be, guys. But it's still doing a lot of damage, which is crazy. Because if it's doing this much damage now, I want to see what it's doing when it's not bugged.
So you're just limited to using every other rocket launcher in the game, you poor people.
That has been buffed.
Yeah, and that's our list of known issues. Again, if you're having these issues, go to the help forum. Let Bungie know. If you're seeing the codes where you can't load the game at all on Steam, let them know, and they will. The more data helps them figure out why you can't play the game.
Yeah.
Now Respawn's going to bring a knife to a gunfight.
Is it?
Am I?
I don't know. There's movie of the week. They have knives and gunfights, and there's a lovely Destiny fan film that I expect Respawn's full review on.
Oh, that was good.
Was it? Oh, I gotta watch it then.
There's also
you need to watch it.
Okay.
Respawn, I'm sorry, you have to be the Warlock Master Race now, because I believe the throwing knife only 8th column. I think he's the Warlock Master.
What?
Race. I'm pretty sure he's the Warlock Master Race, and you have to give it to Bungie. Yeah,
he's the Hunter Master Race. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. He's the other clip of the week. The throwing knife only 8th column. He's the Hunter Master Race. I'm sorry, that's just how it is now.
No, I'm still the Hunter Master Race. He's just a better hunter, right? You don't have to be the best in the field to be the leader of that field. Okay, I just know how to lead people.
Okay. So he's the leader of all the hunters. You're just leader of some hunters.
Oh, shut up!
And then Destiny would like to remind you can get a sweet messenger pulse rifle by suffering through Crucible to get the 3-win reward, which is the pulse rifle, which by the time this comes out, trials will be over and there'll be something else to get next week. But just keep in mind, your 3-win reward is you can get just from a bounty from Sam 14. So you don't have to do well. You just have to play for about an hour and a half. Hour to an hour and a half is all it takes, and you get your reward. And then you never have to think about trials again.
No, it would have taken less time if we didn't have to wait for Faffy Boy to stop faffing about in the tower, going backwards and forward, going, do I need this gun? Do I need that gun? What bounties do I need to pick up? What do I need to do? We got on half an hour early, and this is going back to last week, where originally it was a joke. We said, we'll play Trials for your birthday, Peroty, because it's coming back.
Yeah.
We had... Seriously, I don't think we had any intention of jumping into Trials until we saw the TWAB and we saw that the Messenger was back this week and you could get it on the 3-win reward for completing the bounty. And the Messenger is a very good weapon, very good pulse rifle. So it was like, okay, you've twisted me arm, Bungie. We'll go into Trials so you guys don't have to, and we will endure it and give you a report on it. But we did have to wait through half an hour of faffing about in the tower from Respawn of
I wasn't even in the tower. I wasn't even in the tower. My Xbox was on, but I had to download almost 11 gigs of updates on my Xbox. I wasn't in the game at all. I was just in the chat with you guys because I didn't think we were doing it until I got the message.
No,
and then I'm like,
we communicated several days before. You were practicing the night before because I was talking to you the night before.
Because so I got home Friday evening, and we did this Saturday morning.
When you got home and you were practicing in your comp, you could have clicked the button and gone, "Oh, I might need to update something."
No, not a thing.
No.
So he doesn't speak to us console peasants anymore. He's gone full PC Master Race now. He doesn't speak to us people.
True. I still play console. That's why I did the thing with you guys. But just because you guys were all like, "Oh, you're gonna use that as an excuse, huh?" Even when I was talking to Fuzco, because Fuzco and Pale Rider were both like, "So how was it?" And I just started off with, "So I had to play on Xbox, and I don't have the new Xbox, so 30 frames." With half the screen real estate. And even Fuzco, who always takes a shot at me, goes, "Oh, that had to be rough." I'm like, yeah, it was. You know, it took me like five games to get acclimatized to the whole lack of screen real estate and frames, right?
Yeah. No, I completely understand.
Yeah, that is something worth mentioning. That because we were always sort of curious because I'm on a 1X, you're on a 1X, and then Nitedemon is on the new hotness Xbox Series X1 Double Plus Good French Edition. It comes with free croissants. And it was interesting because you're basically playing the PC version to our Xbox version with your extra frames and your extra things, and you were actually noticing, what was it like like jitter and stutters and things, whereas it looked to me, and other than Respawn playing with one eye shut and an arm tie behind his back, spec wise, the game was running fine, but it was running actually worse for you on the new stuff, and of course I don't know what what our components were playing on. But I thought that was interesting that you were actually sort of almost penalized for using the better console in the game. So I wonder, and we may have covered this, forgive me, I don't know if they ever said what happens when you're on just a flat out better console in a PvP game type against people who are not, where it tries to match you. Does it bring you down? Does it, how does that work? And clearly the answer seems to be not very well.
No, it doesn't like it at all.
Something weird's happening with it, because compared to when we played Trials the first week that they ever brought Trials back and we went in just for a bit of fun, that was quite fluid. We were all on normal Xboxes, Xbox Series X's, and I think you were on your original Xbox back then, weren't you, Peroty? Your Xbox One,
the 360 or whatever.
No, just the original Xbox One, not a 360, and that was quite fluid. There was no, we that was good games.
Yeah.
But then playing yesterday,
quality-wise games, we still got stomped. But yeah, the game worked as intended.
The game worked as intended. But what I was finding yesterday was when I was trying to do a headshot with Le Monarch, normally I find I can hit those headshots pretty decent. But what I was seeing on the opposition was they were juddering slightly to the left or to the right, and I was missing the headshots. And, you could say that was just me missing headshots. Okay, fine. But then when I was dead and then I was watching these two running around like headless chickens, it was literally like they were juddering all over the place and the enemies were juddering all over the place. And I couldn't tell who was actually, one point, there was one person in front of you and one person behind you, and then there was nobody. And it was really weird to actually watch that. And I don't know whether it was because of the new systems and we were playing, across the pond with different connections, but I wouldn't guess it was that. I think it has something to do with the fact that I'm on the higher Xbox, and maybe there is a compensation that it does with trying to get us all kind of in sync, because he's got to somehow either bring me down or you guys up somehow.
It's got to bring you down because, okay, so you said when you play Crucible, you're at 120, right?
Yeah.
You're literally running 4 times faster than we are, spec-wise. 4, right? So it has to slow you down or something, because otherwise you basically freaking see into the future,
But I know the thing that I notice is that I've played comp quite regularly over the last couple of weeks, and I can hit those headshots with the Monarchs, no problem whatsoever. There's no juddering, there's no issues. It was only when we got into Trials that there seemed to be an issue, and as I said, I don't know what the issue is, because even then, me playing in comp, I'm not always going to be guaranteed to be playing against other people that are on the Series X, or other people on my team are on the Series X. There's obviously something in Trials that there's some kind of issue.
Yeah.
So I'm super curious if other people have had that similar experience. Yeah, because it was super weird. Yeah, I don't know. Just something to note, because I'm really curious again as we get toward crossplay how that's going. PvE, who cares? But PvP, how that's going to work and what they're going to do to make it, functional and fair and whatever for everybody playing it. I just really enjoyed. I have to say, I really enjoyed the whole. I got the whole breadth and width of the Respawn emotions yesterday in Trials. From like the lowest low, like, why am I here? These guns don't work. This is terrible, to I am a god, bow before me. Like, just in about 45 seconds. Just
I didn't say the god part, but I did go, I am the best at this video game ever.
Right. Yeah. I mean just the absolute high and low. I just really appreciated that, within a match, from getting stomped to actually winning a round, because we found people, more or less matched up like us.
After you left, we won 2 rounds after you left, believe it or not, but we couldn't win the third. And did you watch the video to see why we didn't win the third?
I didn't watch any video at all.
Okay.
I was working.
So
here he goes. He's going to blame
me.
We had
2 wins. We had 2 wins and a clean card. Let me say this again. 2 wins and a clean card, right? And then Demon's all like,
we were riding the way.
We can do this. We got this, guys. And immediately you just heard me go, no, you didn't.
So you Durian.
Yeah. Just immediately, I'm just like, why? Why would you do that?
Step 1,
why would you do that?
Never be the Durian and say, we got this, guys. Because
to be honest, I think I've said it. I think I've said it enough times now that it's slowly becoming a Night Demon and not a Durian.
That's probably fair. Although, I don't know. I feel like the number of times he said that in Vault of Glass, and then the number of hours we were then in Vault of Glass after that point where you go, hey, buddy, remember like 2 hours ago when you said this? And we're still on this encounter? Yeah. Remember that?
Yeah. And I'm not overly superstitious by any means. I am religious, but I'm not superstitious. Unless it comes to Destiny, right? There are things you just do not say in Destiny until the thing that you're doing is already done. And the main thing is, we've got this. That is the unholiest thing you can say in this video game, and it gets you banned from servers. I know this because it's happened.
I just want to say the Night Demon on an hour of sleep is still a better Trials player than I will ever be.
That's fair. No, he did a great job, man. He did a great job carrying us, and then I popped off a couple times, and then Golden did really good a couple of times, and then completely threw it like 3 or 4 times after that. But it's not his fault he threw it. It's your fault for saying we got this.
That sounds like the Peroty gaming system. You have one good game where you're good once, and then you just screw up the rest of the time.
You just couldn't help but laughing. He's got both reses in front of him and a shield, but he doesn't want to res us. He starts popping around the side of the shield to take out the other 3 players that are coming towards him. It's like
he's got this, guys. Get on his backpack victory. Yeah, no, that was fun. It just cracked me up though. Like, we step into Trials, week 1, day 1, our first match, and we are, none of us are Trials players. None of us are. We're all, I'll say, middle of the road PvP players on our best day. Night Demon may be a little bit better. Respawn PC might be a little bit better, but I mean, I am right at a 0.8 to 1.0 maybe on a good day players. Day 1, we step into Trials. What's our first match against?
Flawless, guys.
The clan of the Lighthouse Boys, all decked out in Trials gear, and I'm like, Bungie, this right here, I can give you a 45-second intro on why nobody plays Trials. Crap like this, you step in, and your first match is against the flawless gods of the Lighthouse. And you're like, oh, it's like loading into Gambit, and your first match is against one guy on the other team, and his name is just the Drifter.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Why am I here? Like, clearly, this is not going to go well for me. Why have I even signed up for this pain?
And what's even worse,
the answer is 90 minutes of suffering to get the week 3 drop, which is the only reason ever to step into Trials. Whatever or not the week 3, the 3-win drop. At least they gave you that bounty, so you can just go and get destroyed for about 90 minutes. A little less if you actually manage to win one, and at least you get something out of it. But beyond that, there is no reason ever to step into that match again. After that hour, no, you ignore it until the summoner comes up, or the shotgun, or whatever gun you happen to want in the armor. I'm sorry, other than looking cool, who cares? It's not worth it. It's not worth it to go in every week.
And it was interesting to go back into Trials to see what it was like, seeing as we've had a great period of time of people either quitting the game and not sticking with it, and people complaining that there wasn't anything in Trials. So it was interesting to go back and see. Now they've put something quite tangible that a lot of people would actually like to get at the 3 rewards or just doing the bounties to see what the player base was like. And I think Peroty summed it up quite easily with the fact, effectively, that we went up against the Lighthouse boys on our first card on our first game, and it was like you were dying inside. It was like, seriously, this. I know it's our first card. They obviously weren't on their first card of the weekend. You know, there was a whole day had gone past before we started playing, but it was like, it was demoralizing, to be honest. It was enjoyable because we were playing together and we were just having fun, and we were just in there to get the bounties done and try and get a win. But when you come up against the Trials players that are just bouncing all over the place and just in your face and 10 times above your skill level, it makes no sense, because that's why I feel that there isn't a player base for Trials, and that's why you'll find that towards the end of the seasons, it is just the hardcore people that just stay in there, and they moan at the fact that they're just playing each other. There's no fresh blood coming in.
Yeah,
I think,
and you know, that's what they were complaining about. Oh, skill-based matchmaking, I'm always playing against the same people. Well, connection-based matchmaking, you're always playing against the same people because nobody else wants to deal with that crap. Sorry. Continue.
Yeah. I mean, we couldn't have like written a script better than to say, hey, we're just going to hop into Trial, you know, have a laugh, play for the weekend, and yeah, the Lighthouse boys as your clan on the first one. You know, of course, fully decked out in Trials. You're like, couldn't have written the script better to say, Bungie, this is why nobody does this.
Yeah.
This is why there's, you know, you might go in and play for your hour to get your 3-win reward from the bounty, and then never again. Because there's just no reason to. Like, I think of those, what we played, 10, 12 different teams, whatever that was. One of them, you know, one round we won because it was, you know, or, you know, set of rounds we won because it was against people of our skill level. And once or twice we won 1 round out of 5, maybe. Yeah. Like, but other than that, it was just not even close. Like, we would get a kill, like maybe 1 or 2 kills total in the full round of 5, but like it was not anywhere near close. And it's like it's just the gap there is just ridiculous.
And to build on what Peroty
there's
was
not
saying,
even a chance to get better. Like, it's not even like you can ramp up. It's not even like we're 5 wins or going for our 7th win. It's 1 win day 1 out of the gate. Yeah. You know, there is no incentive to try to get better when it just immediately you're up against the raid boss before you even see an ad.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And in case you guys didn't pick up on it, he didn't directly say it, but not only are they wearing like Trials gear, but they all had the flawless emblem, right? So it's not like they just came in there, you know, they get their, you know, weekly Trials gear and then that's it, and they just have Trials gear. No, these guys had flawless emblems. And here we are, little old us, with probably 20 games under our career belt for freaking Trials going up against these guys. You know, it was nowhere near balanced. And Bungie's all like, oh, well, we're going to do connection and card-based matchmaking. Well, if the really super good guys just go in there, kill everyone, then reset their card, now we're on the same card. You know?
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
You know, not trying to talk Trials to death, but since we actually, you know, step foot into it and can have firsthand experience of it being terrible, you know, we share it with you so you don't have to.
But the thing is, you know, us as players in Crucible, we're not a below average skill players. We're not players that have only just jumped into the game. We've been playing this game for quite some time. We know what the metas are. We know what weapons. We know how to handle ourselves in a 1v1. We know how to handle ourselves in a 1v6 in normal kind of Crucible. I mean, last season I went up to 4,000 in competitive. I'm trying to get better at the skill. But the difference between normal control, Iron Banner, then jumping into comp, and then Trials, there's different metas, there's different skill levels and skill ceilings for each game mode.
Oh, yeah. And there's different strategies too, like in Trials, right? What you want more than anything else is to get that first pick, right? And once you have that first pick, you rush in and just finish the other 2 off, you know, ideally. So, I mean, it nowhere else in any Crucible are you looking for just that first pick, and then, you know, basically whoever gets the first pick wins kind of scenarios, you know. So,
but what I'm saying is we're not bad players. We're not, you know, the worst players, but we've got decent KDs in the game in playing Crucible. And
maybe not after this weekend. But sorry, go ahead.
I mean, the KD doesn't really matter. But what I'm saying is we're kind of decent players, all in all. Maybe lacking in communication of call-outs and things, but that comes with time and practice. But
hey, he's over there as a perfectly good call-out. Thank you.
Yeah, he's behind you.
Well, he was behind you, and it was a good call-out, right? It's not my fault.
But I'm going to go.
It's not a good call-out. He shot me. Who? Where? That tells me nothing. Anyway. But no, okay. Back to that point, and this is gonna be the last I say of it. I still stand by what I said before about, if you don't like it, get better. Right? And in saying so, I was talking to the guys and I'm like, you know what? I think I'm gonna play Trials more just so that I can get at least decent at it, so that they don't just rickroll all over us every time we play. So, I mean, that part, I guess, is for me, that's going to encourage me to play more and get better. But it doesn't make me feel good to know that this is our conversation. Or not conversation. This is our competition. That's rough, man. It's absolutely rough.
I mean, one of the things that really kind of, I think I've either heard in other places or listened on, like, seen the YouTube videos of it, is the snowball effect with the supers. Now, when we did have a chance against other teams and we could see that maybe they were slightly better than us, but if we kind of really tried hard, we could actually get that win in that round anyway. What we found was that they may get the first couple of rounds and then we kind of got the feel for the other team and we maybe won the next one, but then their supers would then snowball because they generated.
They were alive longer. Yeah, they were alive longer.
And they got the more kills or they got the supers up faster. But you know what I mean? It's just like in those next two rounds, if somebody pops a super and they tag all three of you, that's it, you're out. There's no revives, nothing. So it only takes them to kind of win 2 rounds to get a good enough super or good enough energy to build up a super that they could then lose the next 2 rounds, but then just come back with 3 supers, one after each other, and just wipe you out. And I honestly think that possibly taking supers out of Trials would make it a better game mode, because it would be about the gameplay. It would be about the gun skill, be about the positioning. It wouldn't necessarily be about, oh, okay, I've held back long enough, or I've got enough picks that I've got enough super, or I've got my armor spec'd out to 100% intellect that I've got the super ready within the second game that I can then help snowball the effect. I see that as tactics, the same with the sword peeking. It's all kind of tactics, and I do see that. But I think if you want to get average players to come into the game mode and give them a little bit of a fighting chance, maybe take supers out. Because
either that or have like a sub game mode, right? Like you have your normal Trials with everything, enabled, and then you have, weapons only Trials, something like that.
But then you're splitting the player base, and they don't want to do that.
It's already a small player base. Yeah, I mean, although if it would actually grow, if you would sort of have like a farm league system, if you would grow people into that, like sub Trials game mode, and honestly, I guess that's sort of what what elimination is now. Like that's sort of the point of Trials, or to be like a practice for Trials. It's sort of more or less the same game type. But there's just no reason to do it. But yeah, anyway.
And I'm going to go back to what I said a couple of months back, that I do believe that there should be a kind of lighthouse protection for new players coming into the game. And thinking about it, where if you do have somebody like us that have gone in this week, we haven't been to the lighthouse, we should not be playing other people that have been to the lighthouse for this week anyway. So on your account, or your whole account, if you have been to the lighthouse that week and you're taking your second character, or you're just going back on your normal main character to open the chest again, you should not have to fight against, newer players coming in. The newer players should have a fighting chance to get actual other players that are trying to get to the lighthouse. And I see that as, yes, maybe splitting the player base. But most of these guys have been to the lighthouse that you end up
it's also
playing
better
in
than
Trials.
just losing the player base entirely.
I think it would increase the player base, because you would then see that, yes, maybe you might go up against that weekend. Those Trials players haven't been to the lighthouse yet, and it's their first game. But then subsequently after that, you might have more of a chance of meeting other people maybe not of your skill level, maybe higher, but it gives you a better chance at maybe improving and learning the maps rather than just being stomped on. And, you actually do have a fighting chance. And it wouldn't hurt those players that have actually been to the Lighthouse, because they are playing other people that have been to the Lighthouse. In the end, ultimately, that's it all kind of boils down to, mainly apart from like the first couple of games where it is just kind of cannon fodder for us guys. So I see it as that it's kind of a win-win situation. Those guys will still be able to go to the Lighthouse, will still be able to play against other people that have gone to the Lighthouse. But then other people that haven't been to the Lighthouse may have just that, that little bit of extra skill to get themselves to the Lighthouse that week. But then if they want to continue on their second and third characters or on their main character and go back and see if they can do it again, they're then put into the bigger loophole of, oh, these are the Trials players. These are the guys that we need to aspire to. And I think that is probably going to be one of the best solutions for the game mode, is because you want to get more people in there. You want to entice more people, and you don't want to put them off with they're just going to be stomped, first game, first round. It is demoralizing for other players. And that's why I sent a message to the guys that we beat saying, thank you for the win, because we've been here for an hour just trying to get this bounty progressed. And
was that the game that I lost my mind and popped off, or was that after Peroty left?
No, I think that was the game that you were just messing about. Yeah, you got really excited that you were playing.
Okay.
But it was actually nice to actually play against people.
It was an actual competition, not a slaughter fest.
Yeah,
yeah. It was. I think it was 5-3 to us, wasn't it? But it was a kind of back and forth. We won one, they won one. We won the second one, they won the next one, and it was kind of back and forth. And it was a nice, enjoyable game. Like, these guys were fighting. They were fighting for their life, and we were fighting for our life. But it was enjoyable, and it was something to accomplish. And it was. We could tell that we were getting better as a team. We lost it the second game, that we came up against the other Trials guys, but it did help in that instance.
Yeah, no, that was definitely raising morale when you actually have competition. Like if it was a close game and then we lost, I wouldn't feel bad, right? But when you just get completely one-sided, I was so afraid, honestly, because of like Trials, like PTSD. I was afraid that they were actually trolling us, right? And they were going to let us get the 4 wins or whatever, and then just completely dominate. I was convinced that that's what we were about to experience, and it didn't happen. And I was real happy that we were actually going against somebody that was a team, not a team. Somebody that we could actually fight. So
yeah. 3 people who also said, let me go in and at least get my messenger out of the engram, not because I think I'm going to go to the Lighthouse and do well.
Right. Flawless.
So apart from that, Joker, you had some hot topics that you wanted to discuss on the show. Yeah. So is it a Joker rant, or is it a Respawn rant where he's just going to interrupt Joker's thoughts?
No, as a matter of fact, I'm going to mute my mic so you can't hear me. This is all you, bud.
He's going to pre-interrupt you before you even speak, so you get the full experience.
The floor is yours, Joker.
Thank you. And thank you for muting your mic, Respawn. Our appreciation of you went up about 1/4 of a meter.
Respawn,
rank
up.
Stop the presses. Haha. Stop the presses and cue the music. Nitedemon, please don't fade me out. It's time for Joker Does Not Jest. The Monument to Lost Lights was an addition to the Beyond Light content that dropped on November 10th. This tower vendor allows you to pick up legacy pinnacle weapons and old exotics from past Destiny 2 expansions for a minimal cost. Now, I've only been in the game for about 2 years, but I know that some of these quests for these really good exotics were hard. And when I mean hard, I mean hours of frustrating back and forth grinding through quests. I'm looking at you, Thorn. I'm looking at you, Ace of Spades. I'm looking at you, Izanagi's Burden, which I can now buy with planetary materials, one of the easiest things to get in the game. Yes, I know there's Ascendant Shards, but you run a couple Nightfalls, you go to Banshee 44 and buy them. It's easy. I've bought about 6 really good exotics that I was right smack dab in the middle of hard quests to get for months before Beyond Light came out, and now all I have to do is just go to the tower and buy them. I and everyone else who was playing before Beyond Light grinded to get these things. And some of them I did. Like for Ace of Spades, for Sleeper Stimulant, for Polaris Lance. I grinded those out. I played those missions. I soloed most of the hard content there because I didn't have any friends to play with. And now, anyone who's out there, a new light player, can come into the tower and buy up all of these exotics that I worked for without doing a single bit of the work. It is less satisfying overall to watch a new light player go in, buy the thing that I worked for, and just say, oh, aha, you got it from this, you got it from all that, I got it from 30 seconds ago, just buying it. Like, why did I do all that work when I could have just waited and bought everything I needed? This is not a pay-to-win game, I hope. There's also the factor of less experience. Some of those missions, like the Outbreak Perfected and the Whisper, were lore-ridden and wonderful to play. They had beautiful skyboxes, they had great encounters, there were cool parts of the game. I mean, goodness, the final boss of the 0 Hour mission was called Loyal to Aramis. Beyond Light hint? I think so. I am so frustrated by the fact that in a non-pay-to-win game, some of the best exotics, including raid exotics like Leviathan's Breath, not Leviathan's Breath, Anarchy, you can now just buy, and it's what everyone uses in raids. Bungie, I don't know if you just don't care about old content and want to move on to new content. If you do, that's fine. But don't just give us all of these really good exotics that people now feel were useless to do because you can now just buy them. And if you're lazy and just didn't want to do anything about these old exotics, that's on you, Bungie, and that's disappointing because we wanted more from you when it came to content. And there's been a lot of talk about how Beyond Light didn't have the content that we expected it to have and dropped a lot of the content that we loved. And when it comes to the things that can kill you fastest, you should have put more effort into making sure that those were balanced across all the players rather than just the people who had the materials and not the people who earned it. I've also seen an increase in PvP. Now, I know that everything's game in PvP, and if you have the weapon, you use the weapon. But over on the PC side, think about this. A new light cheater who comes in with his cheats before Beyond Light, he came in with minimal knowledge and his cheats. He was able to use the aimbots, use the wall hacks, and pretty much beat everyone in Crucible. Well, now, not only does he have that, but he can go to the tower, buy up Fellwinter's Lie, the pinnacle PvP shotgun that all Titans love to run at you with, and shotgun you to death with wall hacks. Bungie, you are giving cheaters not just easy access to cheats because your anti-cheat stinks, but you're giving them pinnacle exotics and PvP weapons. I don't know how you didn't see this coming, that you're feeding the fire. You are feeding the fire of both cheaters and people who are tired of your lack of effort and content. I also have a question to ask. The Shadowkeep seasonal weapons, so that's like Fourth Horseman, Ariana's Vow, Symmetry, Tommy's Matchbook. Why do they now have to be bought? I could play the game during Shadowkeep and earn those exotics through the season pass. Why do I now have to buy them? I didn't have to buy them before. What changed? What went into effect that, oh, some of you earned this weapon by just playing the game? Good for you. You who didn't, well, you now have to buy it. Why can't I just earn it through playing the game like before. Like back in D1, you used the weapons you wanted to use and it upgraded them. Institute that now, like a catalyst. If you want the weapon, you have to play, like for Tommy's Matchbook, you have to play with auto rifles. You play with auto rifles, you rank up to get the Tommy's Matchbook back if you didn't already have it. This has just been really frustrating to me in that all of the work and effort and time and soloing that I did to get these exotics, I didn't have to do. I just needed to wait until they were all pay to win, buy them up, and then use them now. This also ties into the fact that our quest tab went from about a max 63 quests, which is what I had. I always had about 63 quests in my tab. I have, I think, 8 now. Bungie, where are your quests? Where are the hours of fun that I could go to any planet and there was something to do there? There's now nothing to do. There's, yes, the new seasonal stuff, but beside that, Tangled Shore, not really anything. Dreaming City, yeah, there's some patrol stuff in the Blind Well, which is pretty good, but other than that, not really anything. The EDZ, yeah, you've got the Harbinger activity, if that's still around, because I didn't have Season of the Hunt. But other than that, not much reason. Cosmodrome, as we already said, guys, there's nothing really there. There's will be the new Battleground activity, but that's still seasonal and that comes and goes. Really, the only things that you can go to in this game now and feel like you're doing something is Europa, the Tower, and any place where there's seasonal activity if you have the season pass. Bungie, work on your content, and for goodness sakes, don't just give us exotics. Find a way to reinstitute them into the game. Thank you for listening to my very long, non-jesting rant, and now back to the regular scheduled programming.
Okay, so I've got a couple of questions for you regarding that.
Sure.
And probably a couple of statements as well. The thing is, Bungie and no other players are taking away your accomplishments of you earning those weapons. There are probably stories, there are good stories and bad stories of how you got those. I mean, we have to hear endlessly how Respawn didn't get the Eyes of Tomorrow for 39 attempts. But he's got a story behind that. And
it's not a good one.
But it's a story.
Yeah. But
you at least have something to reminisce on.
But that's the thing. And nobody's taking that away from you. And the time that you've used that weapon before everybody else was able to buy that weapon from a kiosk. Now, I can agree with you that maybe Bungie shouldn't have just plonked them in a kiosk. There should have been some other way to earn those. But nobody's taking away what you did to earn that weapon. And you should be proud of that. And, you know,
how do we know?
Well, you know, and that's all that matters. It doesn't matter whether somebody rocks up at the tower on the day one.
That matters. Somebody else needs to know his accomplishments.
Nobody's knocking. Nobody's knocking his accomplishment.
No,
nobody's knocking his accomplishment.
I do agree with him. However, the
thing is, if somebody walked into a raid or they were carried into a raid and they got a raid exotic on day one, never touched that raid after again. It's the same, very similar to how you just go to that kiosk and you pick up that thing. They didn't really earn it. They've just walked into that raid and they got it by pure luck on that first go. They haven't put the time and effort in like you have. And obviously you feel very passionate about the fact that you've put that time and effort in to earn that weapon. I mean, it took me, I think it was eight runs of Crown of Sorrow to earn the Terror. And I really wanted that weapon, but I really enjoyed the raid. You know, it was very good fun to do. But I couldn't farm it as much as other people could do. And the same with the Anarchy. I played that raid as much as I could, and you know, I got it to drop on my third attempt.
Oh, I hate you.
But yeah, when we talk about raid exotics, Respawn, that's kind of his melting point. That's when he just kind of breaks down and.
But I do agree with you that maybe these weapons should not have been put into a kiosk. I feel that maybe they should have either been dropped into raids as an additional thing that you could earn. You know, a possibility of earning maybe the Eyes of Tomorrow, maybe Anarchy as well. That might drop from the same chest, because then at least you've gone to very similar motions of you've done a raid and you have a chance. Maybe Anarchy was from the Deepstone Crypt. Accurus was probably, the catalysts and things were earned from other raids. You get my point anyway. That it should have been in.
Yes.
And
yes.
Going back to like D1 era of when we had the initial quest for the Thorn, and you had to do X amount of bounties at the bounty board, and it was a random chance that this exotic quest would drop for you, and it was like a 10-step quest that you had to go off and do. And I would have appreciated Bungie more if they'd have done that with some of those weapons that they've now put in the kiosk to then go off and do. And maybe the same with Fellwinters, that Fellwinters could have been earnable through an Iron Banner quest. All these times that Iron Banner's come around since, it's an Iron Banner weapon. It's got the Iron Banner logo on it. It should have been put into some kind of earnable thing through Iron Banner. Now, some of the other weapons that have now been sunset, like the hand cannons, the Not Forgotten, and the other one.
Yes.
Again,
if I could jump in here just a minute.
Go on.
I wasn't going to harp on the pinnacle PvP weapons because they're sunset. And you're not using sunset weapons in really anything. And I'm kind of upset about that because of all the people who did grind for that. I personally did not. I don't have Luna's Howl or Not Forgotten. But I just, because they're sunset, it feels like there's not that push. I mean, yeah, you got them in your collections. You might have the Forged in Fire tab or the something in your Triumphs, but they weren't a huge deal, and they're old.
But you
they're
say they're not a huge
weapons.
deal, but they are still a huge deal to PvP only players. That is a big deal that those things are now in that kiosk. They feel very passionate about it the same way that you're feeling very passionate about that these exotics are in there.
I had to
so
earn
I think
the
it's
Lunar Towel. That was
it's on the same level.
Headache.
But I earned the Lunar Towel. I didn't earn the Not Forgotten, and I haven't bought it yet. But
good for you.
I honestly don't mind that somebody could come along tomorrow and pick that up. Because I know I've earned it. I put myself through that grind when it was a grind to get that weapon. And the same with some of the other pinnacle weapons that I got through dragging myself through comp to actually better myself and get to that point. Nobody's going to take that away from me. And I enjoyed, the getting it at the end. So for somebody to come in, new light, and just pick that up from the tower, I've got no issue with that. Yes, Bungie should have maybe done something. Maybe it was a drop in Crucible. Maybe if you get to a certain point, at the moment, let's face it, 2100 isn't that hard to get to in comp, doing just constantly playing, because you will slowly go up.
You can't lose points like you could before until you get past 21. But you both have points, right? To his point, as somebody that had to earn literally all of these except for the Terrible, which I don't even have yet, and I haven't bought it. I'm with him. It feels like they've taken something from us. But conversely, to Demon's point, in order for you to buy one of these things, you have to have 240 raid coins, right? And don't get me wrong, you can do that in a day. If you do like 4 raids on each of your characters, you could theoretically get it in a day. But that's still a lot of raiding to do to get all those coins. So what they lack in like the RNG aspect of the raid, they still have to make up for it in the sheer number of raids to get caught up to even buy one of those, right? So is it a perfect system? No, it's not. But I mean, you got to keep in mind, this is Bungie's way to try to get new people into the game. Hey, look what you could get. It used to be gone, but not anymore.
Also, I think it's a system of we haven't got the time to rewrite the code to do this, to do that. We've got time enough to focus on getting this out. We've got time enough to get that out. Like they've said with the Cosmodrome now, they've gone back and thought, we shouldn't have said that. It's only going to be this, this, and this. I think a lot of the time and effort that they put into certain areas, they try and focus on those areas, and they're like, yeah, we totally get where you're coming from, that maybe this should have been a quest, maybe this should have been in a raid. We honestly haven't got the time, we haven't got the manpower, we haven't got the resources to do that.
And I think that's where this kiosk comes in. Is it's easier for them to just go, okay, you have to earn it by getting all these tokens, all these planetary materials, then you can buy it.
They could just take it out of the game and say, sorry, you didn't play.
Yeah, but Bungie's fighting that whole you had to be there feeling right now. So they're not going to do that.
No, right. Yeah, but I'm saying that's not the way you didn't play that season, you don't get that gun. You don't get that armor piece. That exotic just isn't available to you. You missed it. Maybe we'll bring it back as part of a special event, but you just don't get it at all.
Yeah. I mean,
at least you have a chance. And to be fair, these weapons, some of them are still very good. Some of them absolutely saw their heyday and were absolutely game changers in that heyday. Are they still good? Yes. Will they be good again? Likely. They're exotics. They'll stick around forever. But like the legendary things are eventually going to sunset out and are not they're the same weapon, but they're not the same weapon in the same meta as when they were like completely dominant. So I think there's still a little bit something different of having like the Felwinter's Lie now versus the Felwinter in its absolute peak. To say, I mean, the two-hand cannons we don't speak about. The Recluse was absolutely devastating in its day. I mean, there was absolutely no way to compete against it.
And
so,
the Mount
in PvP and PvE,
right?
Yeah.
I mean,
it was good all around,
right? And like I feel more for the PvP players having their pinnacle. I mean, am I happy they're gone? Absolutely. As a not pinnacle PvP player. But also, I feel more bad for the PvP folks because if you're playing this game for PvP and that's, there just isn't that much there. There isn't that the level of stuff you have on the PvE side. But I don't have much more to say. It just, just echoing Respawn's point, the raid exotics, you're still playing a lot of raids to get that.
Yeah.
And it's basically the same thing in my eyes of you go earn 240 tokens. Well, that's running through, what'd you say, Respawn, a dozen raids or something minimum?
Yeah, 12.
I mean, that's the same thing as playing. So. Yeah, that's the same thing as playing the same raid a dozen times, hoping it drops. At least this way, you say, I can play a dozen raids, and at least I get something, a guaranteed something out of it. I can go buy the thing at the end. I've earned that through playing it. Yeah, so I mean, at least it's sort of like some raid protection versus I played the raid 39 times and I got not what I wanted out of it. That's a better system to at least be able to say, here's a way to get a thing.
Raids and all I got was a stupid t-shirt.
Exactly.
But let's be honest. There are ways to farm spoils of conquest. There just are.
Raids.
There's chest. No. There's like ways to do it without actually getting a team together. Like I did that a couple times with the Dreaming City. I'd go to the Wish Wall, I'd shoot in a command, I'd go to the start of Shirochi, I'd backtrack across the bridge and open the chest. Right. I'd do the same thing with Morghast on my Warlock. I'd fly across that gap and get some more spoils.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you're still instead of building a team, you're still going to the raid, spending that time opening that chest. That's still a time commitment that you're doing. You're just doing it a different way of people getting together a group. How is that different than getting a team together, playing the raid through and opening the chest that way?
Your way, it's even longer for you to get it because you're not going to get as many spoils. Because not every raid has those, let's say, shortcuts, right? So it's going to take you doing that even longer than some guy just doing 12 raids in a day with 12, whatever. The math works out.
We know what you mean.
Yeah. I think I do agree with your point that the spoils are necessary for the raid exotics from a raid. It's just basically saying, hey, we don't want to put the exotics in the raid. We're going to put the way to get the exotics in the raid, which I don't mind. But focusing on the quest exotics, the ones from all the quests from Forsaken and Shadowkeep and anything before that.
No, I'm sorry. You said quest exotics. I zoned. Continue.
No, the pinnacle weapons, because they're sunset, I feel like they're not. I like Nitedemon was saying. I agree. If you grinded through Crucible to get the Not Forgotten, kudos to you. That's amazing. There are people who didn't, and no one really is going to know that except you, and no one's going to use those weapons anymore because they're sunset.
I mean, at the
I
very
feel
least,
that gives.
They should have done something like a color change or a design change or even a slight perk change so that you would know, hey, I earned this versus, hey, I bought this kind of thing. That way there's some kind of.
Yes.
For it to be the exact same is a little much.
I mean, but by the time you bought it, nobody was using it anymore. I bought the Luna's Hal and the Not Forgotten when they're just, I don't know, for old time's sake. I've never fired either of them once. They're not viable. You don't see them anymore. I mean, I would much rather have the way to say, like, put it, if you earn these weapons at the time they were earnable, put them in the tower in your ship, have some, build out a part of Bungie.net on your profile to like show that you earn these things. Have a way to share that outside of game and in game. Because they're not viable anymore. I'm happy to people buying a weapon that no one's going to use anymore competitively. If you want to take it into control, go for it. Take it into control. But even then, I don't know if I'm going to say there's better options, but there's competitive options now to it. Whereas in their heyday, there was no competitive option.
I would argue that there are better out there. Yeah.
I bought Redrick's Broadsword.
Go ahead, man.
Yes, I agree. I bought Redrick's Broadsword when it was able to be bought because I wanted to complete the Crucible collection set, the Forged in Fire. That's the only pinnacle PvP weapon I've bought from the kiosk because I'm not going to use any of them. They're all way too low light level.
And I feel angry that I spent like 48 hours playing like 36 matches in Crucible to earn mine that I don't care about at all, but just to be that guy.
But honestly, I feel like it motivates Bungie to create better and new and better pinnacle weapons for Strikes, Gambit, and Crucible, which they've done with the slight cheese that half of them are just D1 revamps. That's an entirely different topic, but I don't mind that as long as we keep getting the new weapons. But that's not where I'm centering my Joker Does Not Jest section. This is really, I'm focusing on the quest exotics like Ace, like Izanagi's, kind of like accuracy. You have to play the raid.
Pain too, man. Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah, or let's see, Sleeper Stimulant, Polaris Lance, Whisper, which you could play pretty easily, but Outbreak took a while.
Yeah. Oh no, God, dude, you're right about that. Outbreak was a headache, especially when you go for the Catalyst. Oh my God.
And that's the next thing I'm going to buy. I'm just going to go get some Ascendant Shards from Banshee and buy that baby up, and I'll have it.
Yeah. You're going to love it.
But
and
then I didn't even get started on the Thorn.
Yeah, but I tell you what, though.
Nobody else uses it either.
Your Outbreak perfected. I've got the Outbreak perfected ship to show you that I've done that. So I can show you that I've earned that, and I've earned that in the mission. So,
Okay.
I have no issue with you going over to that kiosk and buying it. There's no issue whatsoever with you being able to do it.
But I don't get the experience of playing 0 Hour. I wanted to play 0 Hour and feel the accomplishment of getting that. I now don't get that. And I know they can't bring that back.
Hey, Will, it's in the content vault. It doesn't mean it's not coming back. It's just not here now. You got to understand what the content vault is.
Yeah, it's legacy content that may or may not come back, but 0 Hour was in the old tower. We're probably getting the old tower back.
Yeah, but they're doing something to the old tower. That's why you're not getting 0 Hour.
Yes. I just feel like put them in the game in some way so that we get an experience, we get a sense of satisfaction that, oh, hey, I did this. I get it. Now, here's something I didn't think about. If Bungie is really focusing on the new content and they're just like, we don't really care about the old content now, we're moving on to bigger and better and higher things, I do kind of understand they're just trying to tie up loose ends and get the old content out in the world and out of the way to get on to Beyond Light, then Witch Queen, then Lightfall, then all of the seasons that come with that, and their exotics and their exotic quests. But I had an idea. Back at the end of Season of Rivals, they opened up that last city portion. Put the exotics as drops from exploring the tower and the last city. So, like, you get to walk around, and in nooks and crannies, there'll be like an exotic engram, and you pick it up, and it'll have a random quest exotic, and you've just walked through this awesome place of the last city and the tower to find this random exotic this quest exotic.
How is
Just
that
an
any
idea I had.
different? How is that any different from just going up and picking up from the kiosk at the moment?
Or throwing into
Got him.
activities. Just add it to
Activities,
the
yes.
you just throw it into the loophole. You murder a blocker and gambit, and exotic drops. Boom! It could be one of the exotics you're missing. How is that?
I'm absolutely fine with that.
First pool.
So
Do something for it, not just buy it from a kiosk.
Yeah,
Maybe
maybe
put it into the game.
Maybe it's in the kind of the old style of loophole of when you've got an exotic to drop in the real world, it could be one of these exotics. Whereas you wouldn't be able to then go, it wouldn't come up in Xur's inventory. It wouldn't be available on like your season pass exotics. It has to be a world drop, something you've done, you've played X amount of hours, and the game's logged that, and it's gone, you know what, at this point in time, you can have one of these exotics. If you don't already got it, you can have an exotic from this loophole to drop. Maybe it could have been that. But, the exotic quests from Destiny 1 were just as good, that you had to go off and you had to do certain tasks. Again, they didn't, they wouldn't have had to put too much effort into those. They could have put, you have to complete Deepstone Crypt, Garden of Salvation, and Last Wish, and do X amount of this, and this to earn this exotic. But
yes,
maybe
I do agree with you. I really do. I'm trying to find a way to keep the old content from just becoming stale and useless.
But that's what it is. I'd much rather them give me something than to continue to support the old stuff for that's the whole point of the content vault is I don't want Bungie to be spending time on the old stuff that's been out for 3 years when they could be building me something new and exciting and interesting. I'd much rather have Thesis than have them work on 0 Hour. I'd much rather have the new exotics than them figuring out how to fix new exotics or fix the old exotics or build them into the game or bug fix them or whatever. Spend your time on the new stuff. I don't need the old stuff forever. It was around for a while. If you miss those 3 years, you miss those 3 years, and now we can. I'd much rather have the new stuff to play, just like the Cosmodrome. We don't want to go back to the Cosmodrome because we've been there. I don't want to use the same guns for 7 years because I've been there.
Yeah, Dipolar brings up a good point.
I do agree with you on that.
I'm gonna say this, damn it, because I've been trying to say it for a minute. Dipolar brings up a good point that you can't ignore. Him and his friends, whenever they first got into the game and they saw that there was a kiosk, that gave them goals, that gave them hope, that gave them something to shoot for. So like what you were talking about earlier, hey, you used to have all these quests, right, in your inventory tab to have stuff to go do, right? Well, now they have stuff from the kiosk. Hey, I want to go get this gun. Cool, I have this gun. It's amazing. Now I got to go to the next one. For the new players, it's them having that something to do that you were complaining that you don't have, right? Don't get me wrong, I do stand by your side about them taking something away from us that have earned it, but at the same time, if we want new players in the game, we're gonna have to make some sacrifices.
Yes, I think I'm kind of relenting here, unlike the perk, and so I do agree that we need the new content. Maybe I'm just clingy and I like the old content a lot. Looking at you, Menagerie. But
Menagerie, that's the example you go to? Really?
I love Menagerie.
I mean, to each their own, I guess. Whatever.
I played Menagerie every chance I got, and I only got Beloved as an actual Menagerie weapon. Ever.
Nice.
No armor, no ornaments, no weapons. Just Beloved. That's off topic, though.
I mean, it was pretty on topic.
We would never go off topic.
Fine. No. You're fine. What's next, guys? Where we at?
Well, it's time for Respawn's report roundup. If Joker's finished.
Is it time for Respawn's report roundup?
I am finished. Thank you for listening to my droning voice that hopefully is a little bit more melodious than the Respawn's.
Melodious. Nobody's more melodious than me.
Over to you then, Respawn.
I'm trying to find my daggum thing.
Spit it out already.
Where's my roundup?
That's the wrong button.
Here it is. Haha, found it. All right, Spawn says, anyone else notice how new strange markings on the Season of the Hunt weapons? DMG replies, these were meant to appear last season. Huh, bug fix. Was shipped with the most recent update. Cool. What do we got here? Bungie help. We have deployed fixes for multiple issues, up to and including mislabeled exotic ornaments. Oh, hold on. Have been removed from Eververse. Players cannot successfully acquire Born in Darkness Part 2. The Helm node in the tower should now be visible to all players who complete the Season 13 intro. There we go. Cool.
If you figure out how to complete the intro.
For real. DMG. Another missed patch note. Fix for Mida Mini and Drain Masterworking is now in. Cosmo, we have confirmed that Penumbral's blast's damage is being reduced, was not an intended change, and will be fixed in a future update.
But they didn't mean to nerf the Warlocks. It was an accident.
Oops. Okay. DMG says Gambit moat pickup. Seeing reports that moats are still finicky.
Correct.
Do you have videos of this issue or any footage of other weirdness going on in Gambit? Throw it our way. Many thanks, Bungie. 5 minutes there will show you that the ground is eating all of them.
Not only that, but I have a clip of a man running over moats 3 or 4 times and none of them being picked up.
I ran into that problem so much this week.
Big Titan hands can't carry moats. It just can't be done. We run over them 3 or 4. Like, I was at 13 moats and I tried to get those last 2. Like after killing a high value target that drops a shower of them, could not pick up 2 moats. Couldn't be done. Yeah, it's
wow.
I don't know what it is, but it's broken. Yeah, to say nothing of the world eating them.
Yeah, no. For me, my biggest problem is it was being eaten by the ground. All right. Now, from a couple days ago, Sunday, 14/12, Bungie help tweeted, we are aware of an issue causing some players not to receive Bright Dust as a reward for completing the weekly challenges for Vanguard, Crucible, and Gambit. We are working on a fix to resolve this issue and provide players with the Bright Dust they did not receive. I think I'm one of those guys because I did a lot of weeklies and I'm only sitting at 1,000 dust. Pretty sure we're supposed to have a lot more than that by now, right? So pretty sure I'm one of those guys. What else we got?
Picking up your additional bounties. If you're not picking up additional bounties, you're not earning Bright Dust.
I did. It's a thing.
Good. You should.
I'm an a-hole, but I'm not. We're not going to go there. So I am 99.99999% sure. By the way, this is CC Coon 91. Saying I am 99.99999% sure that the sniper flinch changes actually reverted them to previous values. Every single play I have double headshot with hand cannon in the past 2 days is instantly met with me getting headshot by a sniper, just like the good old days. DMG has replied, what RPM is the hand cannon? Wondering if 120s are slow enough for the flinch to reset. I can follow up with the team, take a drink, but I'm also seeing feedback that some folks missing more shots since the change. I'm not seeing it. I was getting, I had the exotic, the new exotic pulse rifle, the one gift from the stranger, no time to explain. That thing hits hard, and I burst some guy in the head, and like right as that third round hit his head, you think he'd flinch? Nope, I got shot in the head by his sniper. Like what? Yeah. So, yep, not a thing. Bungie help. We are investigating an issue where players cannot acquire Born in Darkness 2 after completing Born in Darkness 1 quest. We are investigating an issue where the Titan 14th, you already said that, due to an issue where players could become blocked during the Fallen Saber Strike, is currently unavailable. We've identified the issue and are currently developing a fix. We will provide updates when more information is available.
So there's the answer to our question from the top of the show of what's broken. Now you know.
And knowing is half the battle.
Respawn reports.
Close enough. Okay.
This may be a not our question, but if the bunker is, if we're going into the Fallen Saber Strike and Rasputin is dead, how are we getting into the bunker?
We asked him that last week. He hasn't got an answer yet.
Yeah, we looked at the last week saying the call has gone out from Rasputin. No, it hasn't. Just like the call from Peroty has not gone out.
So, DMG04 commented on to raise awareness. Dune Watchers have and the heart of innermost light. Nope, it says and the heart of innermost light are both bugged.
Oh.
We passed along reports of Dune Watchers to the team, which is currently under investigation. Take a drink. I'll follow up on heart of innermost light when we got a bug fix. Strep 2. What about the Cosmodrome strikes missing from the director? Cosmo, looking into it. Take 2 drinks because that was completely pointless. DMG04 missing armor mods. We've already said that. Okay. DMG04 blah freaking blah blah. Weekly featured raid. This was an errant patch note which will be removed. Weekly featured raids are not intended to be released with Season 13, but this is something the team is targeting for a future season. Once more info is available, we will let you know. Checking with the team, it's looking like cores and prisms are being added to secret chests. Was intended for this release and should be live now. Dun, 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 dun. All right. Lost my place. Here we go. Edit Cosmo confirmed below that Adept mods will drop from GM Grandmaster Nightfalls. Cosmo replies, yes, Adept mods will also drop from the Grandmaster Nightfalls. Thank you for that. DMG, Nightfall weapon availability, Shadow Price, Palindrome, Swarm. These are on a weekly rotation. First up, as many of you have discovered, is Shadow Price. Seeing screenshots of your god rolls, I'm tempted to run a few Nightfalls during lunch. And it does say lunch, not launch, just so you know. Cosmo, just confirmed that any damage reduction to Eyes of Tomorrow were definitely not intentional. We've already said that. Thank you. And that's it, guys. That is all for Respawn's report redundancy roundup of ridiculousness.
Is there something else, or is he... I'm just wondering, because I know he sometimes ends because he doesn't want to go over a specific point that makes him angry.
Everything makes him angry. He's like the Hulk.
Yeah, doy. But what are you referring to? So we can make sure.
Well, I'm used to Nitedemon saying, no. There's something else. Read that. No, don't skip over that. You go back. Read that as it is.
Nitedemon's too tired.
Yeah, Nitedemon's like, you'll be lucky if you get the edited version and not just a link to Respawn's Twitch stream. This week. Here you go.
Before we move on to some tips, tricks, guides, and builds, because this week I tasked the guys with coming up with some of their own tips, tricks, guides, and builds.
Respawn had to do work. It's amazing.
They had to do something this week. Yeah, they watched some stuff, so I didn't have to. Well, actually, no, I had watched the ones that they had, but I was just interested to see what they would pick out as well. So I've got a few bits of information for you for while I was kind of playing this week. So we all know that we've got a new stasis quest for the aspects come up this week, and the Exo Stranger gives you 2 fragment quests that you can pick up, either doing 2 bounties in Crucible, Strikes, or Gambit. Now, for science, I thought I'll do one of them, and then I'll delete one of them to see if I can reacquire it later on a different character. Because originally I picked them up doing strikes on my Titan when I first started the game, and I thought, I'll do them, get them out of the way. But then I kind of came a cropper when I was doing Nightfalls, and I was trying to get kills with stasis on barrier champions, because the 2 teammates I wasn't able to communicate with weren't being helpful, and they were just killing the barrier champions with their weapons before I could kill them with stasis. So I got really frustrated with it, and I thought, sod it, I'll just delete it and see if I can reacquire it. If I can't, I'll just pick it up again next week. Turns out you cannot reacquire it if you delete it on that week. So I've got to now wait until next week to pick up the 2 quests. Wow. So I'm going to be a week behind on one of the fragments. So there's 4 new fragments to pick up. So potentially I would have been able to get all of them in like 2 weeks, but now I've got to wait a 3rd week. But I just thought I'd let people know. Don't delete it, just pick up the right one. And don't, if you're low level character and you're trying to do Nightfalls and kill the barrier champions with stasis, it might be better to go and pick up the PvP ones or the Gambit ones to take into to kill, you've probably got more of a chance to kill things with stasis in those.
Don't rely on other people.
So Battlegrounds will give you a tier 1 reward, engram, at 3 games played. You'll get a tier 2 at 6 games played and a tier 3 at 9 games. And I was quite interested to see if I went to 12 games, it gave me a pinnacle. It doesn't. It does not. At the moment, that might come later on because they did that with Crow once you've kind of updated him. And once you've leveled him up, the final iteration of him was a pinnacle reward. So I'm thinking maybe if we upgrade the helm to the highest upgrade that you can with the helm, maybe there'll be a pinnacle reward at maybe doing like 12 of these psychotic battlegrounds every week on each character. But not at the moment, anyway.
Am I the only person who got a little thrown by, go do 3 of these? Okay, now go do more. Now keep going.
No,
I was too, because I was like, wait, I thought wait, there's more? I didn't pay attention that the number kept moving up. I'm just like, I could have sworn I already did this.
Yeah, I'm so used to, go do 3 of a thing and then move on. I was like, but I did my 3 battlegrounds. Okay, go do 2 more. Go do 2 more battlegrounds. I went back in to do strikes, and I was like, wait, there's more battlegrounds.
Yeah, there's always battlegrounds. Nothing but battlegrounds. I just wanted to point out to people that the Harbinger mission is on a 3-week rotation. So this week was back to my first week. So the videos that we have linked or that are available from Ibontis of going through them. So it'll be week 2 next week once you hear this, and week 3 after that. Just wanted to point out that Harbinger mission will give you a pinnacle kinetic Hawk Moon, and it will give you 1 piece of pinnacle gear on the first run through as well. So you'll get a possibility of maybe getting the Hawk Moon and like an armor piece like I did this week. So it's worth running still.
Okay, so there is a reason to do it outside of the Hawk Moon because we don't care about the Hawk Moon.
Exactly, yeah. And when I was leveling up, again, I did everything this week solo, and I managed to get to 1300 on just by my second character. So I only did Titan and Hunter this week, and I've only just kind of started doing the Warlock by just going through my season pass and passing her last season passes stuff. But also another tip is if you've got a really high powered character and you go and visit Zer, you can also then pick up the highest piece for your other 2 characters from that one character. So when I visited Zer with my Hunter, I was able to pick up a 1296 Dune Marchers for my Titan and the helmet for the Warlocks to then boost them up even higher. So that is also still something you can do. The High Celebrant mission is just a powerful engram now, and Crow's 5 lures that you have to charge up and go off and do the rewards for. It's not a pinnacle anymore, it's just a powerful reward. It says powerful legacy engram, but it's just a powerful reward.
So you shouldn't delete the lure, because I saw it in my inventory and I almost deleted it.
You can delete it. It's absolutely fine.
You can always get it back. Yeah.
Yeah, it goes to the table next to him.
Okay, I mean, I'm not saying I'll do them anymore anyway, because I barely did them last season, but I wasn't sure if that was still in the game, and it was one of those things Bungie just didn't delete. So you can still do them. There's just less of a reason to.
Yeah. The 3 unlocks that you get this week for doing the pursuits on the tabs to unlock the helm nodes. So if you go into, I think, your quest tabs, at the top of your quests, there's a new bar that's all like the weekly challenges that you can do. I think there's 3 challenges this week, which will then you'll be able to unlock the 3 nodes, and you can select the 3 nodes. And I think it starts you in the middle of the top nodes on the helm, and then you can either choose to go left or right with how you want to select to upgrade the helm. Next week's ones are acquire 200 Cabal gold from playing Strikes, Gambit, Crucible, public events, and more, and smash 10 tribute chests and focus 10 season of the Chosen engrams with charges from the Hammer of Proving. So that's next week's ones. And just to let you know, the exotics from last season that were only available in the Lost sectors, so that's the gauntlets and the helmets, are now dropping in exotic engrams that you can. But I use the ones on my old pass. I just thought I'd kind of pop them, see what I'd got from them, and I can confirm that I got the Mask of Bacchus for the Hunter. Even though I had it, it drops from those engrams. So they're dropping in the world now. And I'm guessing as well from Xur. So if you've got one of those exotic ciphers or you want to go and get the fated engram, you should be able to pick up one of those newer pieces of armor.
If it's in your loot pool, or even if it's not in your loot, says the man who has run none of them. And
well, no, if you haven't done the lost sectors, they are now dropping from the exotic engrams from just the world and
okay, so they have been added just to the world. All right,
yes, because they have updated the lost sectors with chess pieces. So this gives us the opportunity to go over the new chess pieces. So we have the Hunter chess piece, which is the Omnioculus. When you make an ally invisible, they gain damage resistance whilst invisible, and you gain melee energy.
Okay, so someone who's a Harry Potter fan thought up that, and we know it.
Not I. Then we have the Mantle of Battle Harmony for the Warlocks, which actually sounds quite cool. Is Aspirational Cell.
So OP.
Takedowns with weapons that have a damage type matching your subclass element grants you super energy. I could see how this would work on the Void. This would be quite good. While your super energy is full, you gain a temporary bonus to weapon damage of the type matching your subclass element. Or maybe solar, dropping the well. So these people that hold on to their wells, that'd be a good one. And then finally, for the Titans, the most OP chess piece in the world. The Cuirass of the Falling Stars.
Star.
Oh, Star, sorry. Glorious Charge. Greatly increase your Thundercrass impact damage. Gain an overshield that lasts longer the further you travel before striking a target. So this is for middle tree striker, isn't it? So you can do your Thunder Crash from miles away. And I think it also works on when you're doing your Thunder Crash, you can just do that ground pound, jump up in the air and slam down to the ground. Because I think Respawn suffered this in Trials yesterday. He got one shot from this, so he wasn't happy with that.
No.
So, and they was like, I think you were saying at some point that it's comparable to Golden Gun,
with Celestial
Nighthawk.
Yep.
Celestial Nighthawks.
Yep.
And I think Cool Guy was saying if you took 6 ballistic slam titans to a raid boss, it's doing stupid amounts of damage if everyone's wearing the same chest piece.
Indeed it is. Indeed.
I could just see how the Warlock robes, what were they called again?
Yes.
Yes. The Mantle of Battle Harmony.
Oh, that, yeah.
The Mantle of Battle Harmony. Yeah. You put Osmosis on your kinetic weapon. You get an arc. You get an arc weapon in your energy slot and an arc heavy weapon, and you do middle tree arc subclass, your Chaos Reach.
Nice.
Oh my goodness. You're just going to be destroying everything. You're going to have super energy all day long. You're going to have weapon damage. You're going to have arc just here, there, and everywhere. That thing's going to be just bomb.
So it's mainly built around light subclasses then?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, so they're pushing the light ones a bit.
They're like, hey, remember these exist? I know they're all underpowered compared to Stasis, where you can just freeze everybody and then dance in front of them. But remember, there's 3 other subclasses. So we promise, please, guys, please.
And talking about something that still exists that probably nobody's talking about is the Heir Apparent, which was the exotic.
You're right.
Light machine gun from. I
Right,
think it was last year. Last year's Guardian Games. I think it's been data mined. Yeah, I think it's been data mined that we're going to get a catalyst coming soon. So hopefully it's probably with the Guardian Games tie-in. That's how you learn that.
Maybe.
And then
they did botch it up by letting us buy it early this season or last season. Remember how it wasn't supposed to be there, and we're like, "Oh my god!" That is the one exotic I bought, obviously, because can't go back and get it any other way. So I bought the Heir Apparent. Yes, I did.
And then our Hammer of Proving is going to have upgrades for just upgrading and doing different things. So we have the Pierce Challenger Medallion, which is an etched challenge medallion pierced by ceremonial knife. Destroy tribute chests in Battlegrounds playlist to temporarily increase hammer charge capacity. Effective until the next Umbral engram is focused at the prismatic recaster. Effects don't stack. And then we have Darkened Challenger Medallion. A Challenger Medallion suffused in darkness. Earn an Umbral engram from the tribute chest in the Battlegrounds playlist. And then we have the Radiant Challenger Medallion. An etched Challenger Medallion that glows with power. Grants additional hammer charges from destroying tribute chests in the Battlegrounds playlist, but costs more Imperial gold to make. So that's going to be interesting at what you kind of can do with those.
Can I just say how satisfying it is to earn my reward by smashing a chest with a giant hammer and then getting to see it?
It's so nice.
Stuck on the ground in the snow. I love that whole mechanic. It's so satisfying.
And I think DCP called it out this week. Exotic hammers for heavies.
Yes.
Not just swords, hammers. Wielding hammers like the Iron Lords did. Yes, I could see that.
Didn't we call that back like in D1 before we got the hammers?
Yeah, during the
Titan? Yeah.
The last mission in the not Warmind. The Rise of Iron expansion. That thing. That one. You build hammers and you
Calm
kill
down,
all
buddy.
the guys.
Calm down. Take a break. Back
Hammers,
up.
axes.
Yes.
Yes. Amazing. That'd be amazing to add that to heavy slot.
Griffball, let's go.
And then we have
imagine that's in the Battlegrounds activity only. Like, you can pick up a Hammer of Proving anytime and use it in the Battlegrounds activity.
Hey, guess what? We already have that. It's called
No. Like no. You can use it on enemies, not just loot stuff.
It's called being a middle tree.
You can smash Cabal.
Yeah, middle tree solar titan.
Oh, got him.
Yes, except there are people out there who are not Titans.
Well, that's their.
Get good scrub.
Sorry if they're disappointed that they can't wield a giant flaming hammer. That's your loss.
Respawn, you know what I mean. Don't I'm getting.
I know
I'm
what you
getting
mean,
double
but
teamed
there's
here.
no. You got to deal with what I deal with every week. It is your turn. I'm enjoying the show from where I'm sitting.
The hunters, you're such a plentiful people, but you're very fragile. So we can't be too hard on you with our giant hammers of flaming death. We have to be somewhat nice to you before you dodge away.
The only reason Respawn.
Use your words.
I'm really curious where this sentence is going.
The only reason Respawn brought me on was so I would take all the junk that you guys throw at him.
What?
I'm
you're the
just now.
human shield? No.
I'm just now figuring this out.
And now we. Oh, wait. You're just now. So 3 hours in, you're just now figuring this out.
Another
How
aspect
could I be
of
so
the hunter.
stupid? We're gullible.
Well, speaking of 3 hours in, let's try and close up what we're actually doing.
Yeah, we need to close out.
So those people that are interested in looking at what exotic catalysts are available, you can have a look in your collections to see where they are and where you can actually obtain them. And the ones that I can't obtain, I've highlighted, and I'm just going to quickly go over. So the Sleeper Simulant Catalyst can be found in the Nightfall Ordeal playlist strikes. The same with the Acrus, that can also be found in the Nightfall Ordeal strikes, and I got the Acrus one to drop. And then we finally have the Telest, which is found in Lost Sectors on Legend or Master difficulty. So Peroty has now found another reason that he has not got to avoid those things.
No. So I now have a single reason to go play them. Is that
yes, you have. Yeah,
you
have a reason to go.
They finally found. It started with losing my renown. Sectors all the time. Bungie finds a way to lure me back into Lost Sectors, and I know it's a trap every time. And yet, I keep coming back for more pain and punishment. But it'll be worth it to go run those stupid legendary Lost Sectors. Thankfully, there's a trillion YouTube videos telling me how to do it easily.
Yeah.
No. Remember back in the day, my renown. No.
Back when renown was a thing, and we had factions, and it mattered.
breathe.
Oh god, that was so funny. The first.
But we also have some tips, tricks, guides, and builds to go over quickly.
Yes. Yes.
Here we go.
I'll go first because it's my section.
Oh, excuse me.
Make it happen.
Pulling rank. Gaming Animal has Season of the Chosen emblems list for you to have a look at, see where these are going to pop up and if you can obtain them. Cheese Forever does point out there is one emblem that you can get, but it's via signing up on a website in Chinese, I believe. To get something. Yeah, I can't remember what it was called. To get, is it the Ox emblem? And it's only limited for the next, I'd say, 10 days at this point. So by the time you hear this, you've probably got a week left. If this is the week that you're hearing it in, that we're posting it maybe on the 16th of February. Anyway, so yes, there are emblems that are available to go and have a look at. Then Ascendant Nomad goes over the new Trials weapons and what perks to look out for, with why you should probably want to go and play Trials and bang your head against the wall to get the new hand cannon. He points out the new hand cannon because it is a 120, but it is better than the 120 that's available in Gambit. The Gambit's kind of the poor man's version in stat wise. So if you want to kind of bang your head against a brick wall and go for this new 120 that has really good rolls on it, he does point it out, but he goes over also the messenger and the sword as well, because the sword apparently is a bolt caster with that new perk on it that when you
No. Boltcaster is D1. Temptation's hook is D2.
Whatever. It's a bolt caster frame.
Sorry. Continue.
What's the new perk that when you get a
chain reaction?
Chain reaction. That's it. So yeah, there is that about it.
Yeah.
And
which I am looking forward to. I am looking forward to see how chain reaction on a freaking sword is going to work. That's going to be amazing.
So the next 3 weeks of trials then for us banging heads against walls.
Yeah, so every time you get a sword kill, you blow yourself up with your own subclass.
No, chain reaction doesn't kill you, right? The explosions they don't hurt you. It's like Firefly. Firefly doesn't hurt you either.
Oh, okay. So it's Firefly, but non-precision.
It's Firefly that when Firefly blows up, it blows up whatever's nearby as well. And if that thing dies from the explosion, then it blows up things near it. Hence, chain reaction.
And it tells you from. And what does Error have to say?
Yes, indeed.
Error goes over the best rocket perks because rockets got buffed. There's a couple of new perks in there that are really, really interesting, aren't there? Respawn. We were talking about this earlier today.
Oh yes,
with some of the new perks that you can get. There's lasting impressions, which is rockets attach on impact and detonate after a delay, increasing the blast radius.
Favorite new perk, by the way,
and damage. And then there's the one where you're in combat constantly. It gives you an extra boost in damage, doesn't it? But
yeah.
Error's kind of done the testing for you and gives a kind of rough estimate of what perks that you should be looking out for and what's the best perks on these new rocket launchers. So go check that out.
Lasting impression, I'm going to tell you, is one of the best perks because it does the most damage, like flat out. They even say lasting impression does upwards of 80% extra damage when it detonates. So you should be looking for that no matter what. Now, if you, like I am, I use that thing like a shotgun. I go up, I shoot something, then walk away while it ticks down to explode because it's like a timed payload kind of thing, right? But if you're playing the strike where it's got the God, what's his name?
Tim the Enchanter.
No. I can't remember the name of the strike, but it's got the guy in the middle standing in electricity, and every now and again he'll start to draw you close to him until you pop a shield. Well,
Pickerel the Fanatic and the Hollowed Lair.
There you go, that guy. If you shoot him with the rocket launcher, by the time it detonates, you will be at his feet, and you are going to die. Don't use it on that guy.
Hero also puts a good case together for the other new perk that we've got is Frenzy, which is being in combat for an extended time increases the damage, handling, and reload for this weapon until you are out of combat.
Nice.
And that has more damage than the payload perk, but again, it's situational when you want to kind of use either one.
You have to be in combat for 14 seconds for
12
it to,
seconds.
I'm sorry, 12 seconds for it to proc. Staying in constant combat for that long sounds harder than what it actually is.
No,
No,
if
no.
you're getting peppered. You'll be fine.
Yeah, whatever. Also, apparently, if you didn't know this, I didn't watch this video, but your teammates shooting you also proc the perk. If you
No,
didn't know.
we can't talk about a Cheese Forever video. We've only selected 5 each. So, Cool Guy has a video on the new Curace of Falling Stars for the Titan. A review on it, and the missile is now top 5 PvE exotic. So go watch that and see how much fun that can be.
Mm.
And I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory how to get the new chess piece exotics. But Astrocross has a video on them going over some of their perks and what they can do. So I thought that would be worth a watch for anyone. Who would like to go next with their videos?
I only see 2 of mine. Where are the rest of mine?
Well, I would say Respawn go next, and I can do mine and then close it out. But if Respawn can't find the rest of his videos,
Yeah, you go first.
His are up. His are up.
Oh, they're further up. Okay, I got them. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So here we go. Wow, we got a lot of stuff going on. Okay. So there's a video by Cactus HD. I know I badmouth him a lot, but every now and again he puts out something that's worth watching. And he has all of the weapons in the game that have dropped this season and all the god rolls for each weapon depending on what you're looking for. So that's worth a watch. One of my favorite dudes, Jok3rs. We've got a couple of videos for him. One of them is...
Like that like button like your mama told you right.
Yeah, you're fired. One of them is gonna be the Tiku's Divination Masterwork. He went and completed the Masterwork. Everybody who knows me knows I love bows. Whenever everybody was saying this bow was crap, I was defending it. It's like, no, it's not crap. You just got to learn how to use it. I thought it was good already. And then the Masterwork came out, which made my opinion even better. So watch this video. It tells you how the Masterwork buffs the bow, how to use the Masterwork to stack up to an extra 101 damage on top of the bow's damage. It's really good. Jok3rs has another one talking about Redrix 2.0. It's about the Messenger God roll. Basically, watch it. Messenger can come with a Desperado perk, and he goes into all the different perks you can get with this gun. And Desperado is probably the better God roll, but there are secondary rolls that if you can't get the Desperado perk, to keep a lookout for to make this pulse rifle also really, really good to use. And I think I have one more scrolling way up here. Keep going.
It's a Sean video.
Huh? What?
It's a Mesa Sean video.
No, it's not. We don't mention his name here. Please edit that out. I actually think that's all my videos. I only had 4 because this one right here, technically I had another one from Jok3rs, Exotic Bugs, DCV and Cosmodrome. Talks about all the different bugs.
Don't lie. You had the Warlock build one. There's a Warlock build one for all you Warlock mains that follow Respawn.
I actually don't know what you're talking about. Oh, this one right here, Warlock build, Shepherd of Fire. Yeah, just watch the video. There's a lot that goes into it. I can't really explain it a whole lot, but it shows you a way to maximize your bow damage from Tiku's bow. Okay, that's basically all there is to it. There's also a similar build with the Hunter, and the Hunter uses, of course, the Oath Keepers, so that you get the perfect shot every time. So it's interchangeable in this video. Me personally, I went the Hunter route. Obviously, these guys are going the Warlock route. But yeah, so check those out. And now we're going to go on to Peroty to see what he's graced us with.
I've got a couple of things. The first one is just a good reminder how to build the perfect ghost shell. Pyro Gaming talks us through, there's a ghost shell. You can put perks into it. You should put perks into it. You should have a couple of ghost shells, spec them out for different things. And he walks through just, how you can spec them out. If you were, say, super poor on Glimmer, can't find any Glimmer to buy your Trials tokens or passages, there's a way to get more Glimmer by murdering all the things. As we already discussed briefly, Spear Gaming has a good video on how to get all of your returning exotic catalysts in Destiny 2. Like the Telesto. Get the Telesto, ignore the rest of them. It's the best out. That's all you need to know. All right, so Ebontis has a great video. If you are staring at your hammer proving guide, your prismatic recaster, your umbral engram, your war table, and going, what are all these things? How do I work? What am I supposed to do with these? What goes where? He walks you through how all that works and why you should use it and love it and smash things with hammers because it's really satisfying. And I don't know what we would be if we didn't mention Fallout plays at least 17 times per contractual obligation, but he has about new and old weapons to chase in Season of the Chosen. Tells you what they are, what they can roll with, where they come from, and why you need 17 additional hand cannons. I almost turned the video off, full disclosure, because the first 3 were like hand cannons. I'm going, dude, these are all hand cannons, but no, he gets into non-hand cannon things after that. Thank you, sir. And once again, per contractual obligation, cheese forever. If you say, you know what, I don't need friends, I'm going to go to the Deepstone Crypt, and I'm going to do a raid solo operator and take care of that security myself. There is a glitch using a Sparrow where you can run a solo operator down below and get through that part of the raid. So check his video out. And then, of course, Nitedemon's bedtime stories. Subscribe, like, get a good night's sleep. And everyone, thank you for joining us. Your Titans are Peroty and Nitedemon. Your hunter is no one responds in real life.
So,
Your lore scribe out in the wastes, consulting the old books of old, bringing us the lore is not ARF. He'll be back soon. Joker is our hunter main, Titan main, warlock main. You know, he's sort of between classes.
Nope, not a Titan main.
good man.
He's a warlock because you need a warlock's, point of view.
I'm a matchup of a warlock and a hunter.
That would be a munter, I believe is the correct term for that.
So if you have questions,
no, that's something completely different in England.
Is it really? Oh God, did I just say something bad?
Munter.
Oh no.
Welcome back.
You don't want to be a munter.
Welcome back to phase 2.
I'm not a no.
Then how about
I'm a warter.
How about a horlock?
Downhill. You can email the show Two Titans and a Hunter at hotmail.com and ask us all of your burning questions about what are you people even trying to do. Find the show on Twitter at @2Titans_Hunter. We're on Instagram, Facebook. Find all your favorite Guardians on Xbox Live and Respawn PC. You can find Joker on PlayStation because PlayStation people need friends too. Listen to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, and everywhere fine podcasts are sold. And guys, we didn't get to one little bug. There's an issue with one of the new strikes that is kind of a big issue. In the new Sepix Prime fight, there's an issue where I can't seem to aim at anything when I'm too busy headbanging the perfected theme. And DMG responded saying, I seem to be the same issue.
Oh, yeah.
One workaround that I found was to cut my hair a bit so it wasn't blocking my vision for those short instances when I could see my screen.
That music is rocking though, isn't it?
Right?
It's heavy metal Destiny.
It's so good.
And with that, gents, say goodbye.
Deuces.
Bye.
Good to have you. Ad astra per aspera.
No, we don't. No, that's copyrighted.
Joker, have you got any views on this?
Oh, he's still here. Oh, goodness.
He checked out an hour ago. He left. He walked away.
He's put his phone down. He's left the building.
He's passed out.
What? What? Sorry.
Demon's voice. Right?
Night Demon was talking.
Yeah.
Demon's voice. Demon's voice.
Sound like
I have only. Oh, I hope that works out.
Anytime that she wants to go to sleep fast, she says, "Just tell me a boring story. Tell me something about Destiny." She says. Normally, it puts her to sleep.
Wow, your wife is evil and amazing.
That's my parents too.
Yeah, my wife wants to listen to Night Demon's voice, but talk about anything else besides Destiny. She's like, if you can dreamy bedtime stories. Yeah, I mean, that's the second income stream you got there, bud. I'm telling you. Just read American Women Bedtime Stories. And they'll pay you. Onlyfans.com/Nitedemon Bedtime Stories.
Whoa.
ODST, you need to put me in touch with your mum. I can do the audiobooks.
No, just cut it off right there. ODST, you need to get me in touch with your mom. Edit. No.